Do you guys remember last week how EJ thought the exploration upper stage wasn't dead? Roll the intro.
And here we go.
There's the deluge. Here's ignition.
Roger, roll, Atlantic. Doubling up.
Did it just do a Kerbal?
Back to the moon and beyond.
Put that in the big bag, Jingle.
Back at home, we all have a lot of work to do, but from here, it sure looks like a perfect world.
Propulsion continues to be normal.
We did have an observation.
Liquidation.
343 unfolds to go.
It's orange.
Water towers fly!
Bingo!
Right in the center.
Where's Jacqueline? There it is!
That was surreal.
That's not what we want to see.
No.
Oh my God.
Yikes. You bet. Sure. We don't need any more of these.
Man, what a great intro. That was so good. It was a great intro. It was really great. Welcome to the Flame Trust. That was really good. Yeah, no, I love that. That I loved every second of that. That was lovely. No, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Flame Trends. This is our weekly informal show where we talk about what's going on in the spaceflight industry. We got some very interesting news that just dropped a little bit before this Flame Trend started. We'll talk to you more about it in a second. But I am EJ, a host and commentator here for NASA Spaceflight. As you saw, I'm joined by Yukon Cornelius. Oh, I mean Max. Max is also here. Hey, Max, how you doing?
Yukon Cornelius, really?
Yes. Yes.
Gosh. But yes, there is a lot to talk about. And a lot of our prep was sort of like undone. It had to like unzip itself before we went live because some very interesting news dropped. But more on that in a bit.
And then, as always, we are joined, but no, not Sawyer. We got Alejandra Alcantarilla Romero. Alex, what's going on?
Really? Wow. Okay. Ooh. I'm not prepared for this. No, of course I am. Yeah, I had to jump in at the last minute, but hey, look, I'm here and I'm able to talk. Right?
Yeah. Yep. There you go. That's we
I haven't
do
even
it.
removed my glasses. I normally do this without my glasses.
No, you're good. Sawyer couldn't be here, guys. He had to return some videotapes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What? It's fine.
Yeah.
So, all right, you guys know the drill. If you have a question for us, there will be a lot of. This is going to be very dialogue heavy. We're gonna be going back and forth. There's a lot of crazy things going on. But if you want to talk to us, you have questions for us at NASA Spaceflight. You know where we're at. If you tag out NASA Spaceflight in chat, it'll pop up for me. I have the panel up there, and we'll go from there. Max, let's spare the formalities. Tell us what's going on.
Following up their NASA's recent announcement on the 27th, trying to restructure the Artemis program from Artemis 4 and beyond, on March 3rd, they followed up that statement with an update stating formally that Mobile Launcher 2 and the Exploration Upper Stage are no longer part of future plans for the Artemis program. So the Exploration Upper Stage and ML2, from what we can see now, are dead. They're canned. They're not going to be used for anything. That may end up changing again for one of the pieces of hardware there, but we can talk about that in a little bit. But essentially, the reasoning behind NASA's decision here was to streamline and simplify operations downstream of Artemis 3 to give them the best chances possible of maintaining a 10 to 12 month turnaround in between flights with a standardized version of SLS beyond what is being used now as the interim cryogenic propulsion stage, or the ICPS, which is what mates to Orion and sends it to where it needs to go. And the breaking news that we were talking about, or that we had just mentioned, is that literally like an hour and change before we went live, it has been confirmed by some public documentation that Centaur 5 will be the replacement for the ICPS for Artemis 4 and beyond. Yeah, we've talked about this before last week, and I think Alex has also mentioned it before on a previous show. But yeah, it's safe to say I know EJ is like chomping at the bit to talk about this. But both the EUS and Mobile Launcher 2 were congressionally mandated, which means that they were mandatory for what they were contracted for, and that's sort of been all undone. So yeah, as you can see here on your screen, just for some context and a comparison between the differences between Mobile Launcher 1 and Mobile Launcher 2. Mobile Launcher 1 is currently configured to launch SLS Block 1 with the ICPS, given where it is with the umbilicals for the ICPS, which are basically carried over from the Delta 4 line of rockets from ULA, and then also the height relative on the tower for Orion in the crew access arm. Mobile Launcher 2 is stretched as it would need to be with the Exploration Upper Stage, which is a much bigger variant or a much bigger upper stage with 4 RL-10s, also built by Boeing. And the crew access arm would be raised a bit, and also some different umbilicals for it as well. Obviously, that's not all needed anymore, especially if they're going to be using Centaur 5. The rocket will be a lot closer in size and height to the SLS Block 1, as we have become used to by now. But this is sort of unprecedented. Again, these were congressionally mandated pieces of hardware that have been sort of undone from their contracts.
And that's, dude, that's why I said what I said.
Floor is yours. Go, it's yours.
That's why I said what I said last week, man. Because, you know, I was like, the U.S. probably isn't gone. It's probably not gone. They're probably just going to save it for some other time or something. No. I was wrong. Nope. Because I've never seen anything like this before. Guys, so as Max was saying, the contract that they put out is called a JOFOC, which is what's that acronym? Hold on. It is a justification for other than full and open competition. All right. So what that basically means is like NASA saying, we want this, we want a Centaur 5. We don't need, there's no competition here. We need this to do what we need to do, get back to the moon, nothing else. That is very rare that comes around in space flight. Like as Max was saying, this is unprecedented. So like my feelings on the situation like last week were like, oh no, they're not going to get rid of it. It's congressionally mandated. Well, nope, that's out the door. That's completely out the door. That's ridiculous. It's completely out the door from the authorization, the Transitional Authorization Act of the NASA Transitional Authorization Act of 2026. It's out the door. Like I've never guys. This is unprecedented. I've never seen nothing like this. And I don't know. You know, I don't know what they're going to do with ML2.
Yeah.
Or the EUS tooling. Alex, what do you think they're going to do with ML2?
Well, according officially to NASA, they are not using it at all. So I'm guessing that it's probably going to be scrapped or something like that. There we can see that mobile launcher 2 being built at the Kennedy Space Center. Whether that's going to happen or not, look, there's so many possibilities, right? As what could happen with this sort of change of plans and everything. So I don't know what's going to happen, but right now the word is we're not using it. Later we'll talk about a little thing that's sort of going on in Congress, which might actually make them have to use ML2, but we'll talk about that later.
Dude, I can't believe this. I mean, guys, like, here's the thing, and Max or Alex, feel free to chime in. This is, dudes. All right. I'm just gonna go out right and say it. Okay. Look, every time someone has said in the past, an administrator, president, whatever, basically since the end of the Apollo program, every time someone has said, like, let's get rid of something, let's not use this. Oh, just kidding, we're not using this. I found a better way to do it. And we're going to save money that way, or, our goals will be better achieved this way. Every time someone has said this, it has failed miserably. I'm just gonna go out right and say it. Like, I like Jared Isaacman, and I like him wanting to bring NASA stuff like back in house and whatnot. I really do appreciate that, but also at the same time, I don't know, man. This is really, really, really like this is a big deal. This is gonna really significant. Ooh, Centaur 5 staging, very nice. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm like, hey, what's up? This is, and I'm not saying that Jared Isaacman will fail. I don't think so. If anything, read the room. Look at how quickly this has all happened. He got confirmed in December. Since when? I guess like this brings in another question, like that kind of like, and Max, I'll put this back over to you. Wait a minute. We can get stuff done this quickly. Like NASA can get stuff done like this fast. Like in the past, it was always like, oh no, that's going to take years for NASA to build one, bolt on the upper stage or something. No, wait, we could. I mean, I keep in mind, I haven't really fabricated anything yet, but like, wait a minute, the political machine, the political side of NASA can move this quickly. Have you always been able to do that? Like, what have we been doing the past 50 years, man? Like,
I mean, you can do a lot when you have the proper motives and the proper people behind the jobs required to give people a kick in the butt to get moving, right? And I think this is also, to your point, EJ. I will counter this. While this is unprecedented from a contractual and congressional level as well. It's unprecedented, I believe, in the fact that plans have changed or have been shifted this much, but the hardware that they want to use is already in place, being that the Centaur 5 upper stage is currently flying on Vulcan, and that is what they want to use for the Artemis 4 launch vehicle and beyond. That's already flying. They already exist. It's already being used.
Yep.
So they have that going for them. I think that they'll have to re-engineer a different LVSA or launch vehicle stage adapter, which should not be that difficult. Famous last words, knock on wood.
Do they, though? Or could they just shorten a Centaur?
Shorten a Centaur?
Think about it. You shorten up the Centaur a little bit, or you use their energy optimized version. It might be the right length. I actually haven't looked. Right, because there's two versions of Centaur 5, guys. There's the long one and a short one. There's the Leo optimized one, which is big, and then there's the energy optimized one, which is tiny.
It's actually, I think it's the other way around, EJ. The short one is the Leo optimized one, and the longer one is the high energy stage, which is about 2 meters longer and holds more propellant. And also, interestingly, uses a Hydrolox RCS system and not a hypergolic RCS system, which is kind of cool. But it has that has not flown yet, but this documentation, from what we can tell, does not show whether it's going to be a Leo optimized variant of Centaur 5 or the high energy Centaur 5.
Well, point still stands. Like, if it's the shorter Centaur, because now my brain's all backwards because I'm too excited about this. If it's the shorter Centaur, is it the right length? That's really what I was getting at.
I did the math and no.
You did the math and no.
I'll take the numbers.
I already did the math. So
what's the length difference, Alex?
I did this in feed and it was many hours ago. But I basically, because what you're trying to say is that what if we keep the same launch vehicle stage adapter, the cone thing?
Yeah, the cone.
And then you have to put the Centaur. The thing is, with Centaur, you're attaching to the bottom of Centaur. With ICPS, you're attaching to the bottom of the liquid hydrogen tank, right? So it's different because the whole ICPS is contained, like most of the ICPS is contained in the launch vehicle stage adapter.
Yeah.
So when you do the math, the launch vehicle stage adapter plus Centaur, now Centaur is not sitting inside, but it's sitting above it, right? So that sort of shifts up the whole thing. The only way that I can see this is just forget about using the same LVSA, just use a different one, build a different adapter, right? And then make it such that it's low enough so that you don't have to change the crew access arm. And that way, the only thing that you have to modify is the adapter itself between the core stage and Centaur, and have a way to implement, the same umbilicals that they use for Centaur at Slick 41 and Vandenberg. I don't remember. It was Slick 3, right?
Yeah.
Same umbilical. ULA has the designs. They have all the things. They can manufacture that. put it on Mobile Launcher One.
And you know what? I don't think it's going to be as big of a deal as we think it might be, because there's only a slight differential in diameter now that I'm thinking about it. Because Vulcan as a whole is about 5.4 meters in diameter. That includes both the core stage and Centaur on top of it. ICPS is only about 5 meters, which is the same diameter as was the case with the Delta IV line of rockets with their main core stages. So only about half a meter, just under sized diameter differential. So they could just maybe they could just manufacture an LVSA that's slightly shorter to accommodate the differences in diameter. Good grief. But it shouldn't be that, famous last words, it should not be that big of a deal. And I think it's a lot less of a problem to have to make slight size changes to your hardware than having to rearrange your entire mobile launcher to fit in an entirely different class of launch vehicle, which they would have to do if they want to still use ML2 for any different purpose. But they still, the reason why I said earlier that that either the EUS or Mobile Launcher 2 might be resurrected at some point, it's probably going to be ML2 because it's over 90% complete. I know we have photos in the back channel somewhere. Like, it's literally sitting in the crawler yard right now. All 10 modules are stacked. The crew access arm is on it. All the umbilicals are on it. That would be used for the Block 1B variant of SLS. The TSM masts, or the tail service masts, are on it. There's still a whole bunch of scaffolding on it, so there's a whole bunch of plumbing work and smaller stuff that has to go on. But structurally, it's like 90% done. And scrapping a piece of hardware that is that far complete in construction sounds like a bigger waste of resources, quite frankly, than having to scrap something that is as far along as the exploration upper stage, which, as far as we have seen, is nothing more than some drawings and maybe part of the LOX tank right now. So that's why I believe if either of these pieces of hardware has a life ahead of it somehow, in some way, with somebody, it's going to be Mobile Launcher 2, because it's going to be a royal shame to see a piece of hardware that expensive and that big and that could serve a bigger purpose down the line just be completely scrapped before it was ever even given a chance. So yeah, lots kind of to digest here as we see some footage here from our trip. I think it was a couple of years ago now, maybe more, to Michoud to see contractors building with some of the exploration upper stage hardware here as well. This is NASA. I'm sorry, this is NASA. Thanks, Jay. But again, the core stage was primarily contracted by Boeing, or Boeing is the primary contractor for the SLS vehicle as a whole. They manufactured the core stage, and they also were going to manufacture the EUS. Obviously, not anymore. ULA are the ones who manufacture Centaur at their factory in Alabama, both with the Centaur 3 and the Centaur 5. So, yeah, lots to. I say it a lot. There's a lot to digest here, and I think I'm just looking at it now. EJ, I want to ring you back in on this. So,
what's up?
We covered this kind of already, but I want to ask you the question directly. Given the hardware that we know is currently in place, and this is actually sidetracked. This is a photo that I took literally this afternoon, and this is how Mobile Launcher 2 looks literally right now.
Nice.
So, given the changes that they want to implement, is this pivot actually going to save time? I want to bring both you and Alex in on this. I know we already talked about the fact that the hardware already exists, but is this actually going to save time in the grand scheme of things?
I mean, dude, okay. Here's the thing. If you asked me this question a week ago, I probably would have given you a different answer. It's like I was saying, dude, just a second ago, like, everyone that has tried to do this, like you said, it would be a shame to scrap ML2 before it was even given a chance. You know that ML1 is Ares 1's mobile launcher, and they did this exact same thing with the Constellation program, and it arguably failed miserably. They cited the exact same things with Constellation. Oh, it's schedule delays. It was under budget, blah, 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 blah. And they use that as a justification to cancel it to try and hand it over to commercial, and Congress freaked out about it. Now, Congress seems to be on board with what Jared is doing. I'm pretty sure they go for launching more. But in terms of like Mobile Launcher 2, I don't think it's necessarily a good idea to just get rid of it. In fact, we haven't seen any. This RFI that NASA put out, the justification for other than full and open competition, the JOFOC that they put out today, right, only really says it's contracted for 2 Centaurs for the Artemis 4 and Artemis 5 mission, and then a spare Centaur after that, just in case. So you got 3 Centaurs for this RFI here. What are you going to do after that? What are you going to do after that? I think whatever they do after that, it's going to most likely use ML2 in some way, shape, or form, dude. I don't think you shouldn't really get rid of it. And like I said, scrapping hardware that's like 90% of the way there is crazy. No matter how you cut it. It's nuts. You shouldn't do that. Anyway, Alex, what do you think?
Boy. There's so many things that I could say about this. You know me already. I'm just gonna say that it is a bit of a mess in the sense of like, how can I make myself an idea on how this will work if I really don't have any information that is beyond we're using Centaur 5, right? Like, you get what I mean, right? One of the things that sort of in the back of my mind is like, is all of this going to be ready on time for a supposed landing mission early 2028? If you run a little bit of maths, you figure out that it's no later than February 2028, because supposedly it's a 10-month turnaround, and so the latest that it can be is February 2028. Anyways, and so I have like Centaur 5, obviously there's many of them around. They can pull out anything from ULA's factory. I don't have any problems with that. Mobile launcher modifications, though, it's like you've got maybe 10 months, right, between Artemis 3 and Artemis 4 to do all of those modifications. According to the document that was released today, by the way, ULA needs to deliver the Centaur 9 months before launch, so like 1 month after Artemis 3 happens, whatever, for stacking operations and things like that. Then at the same time, it's also, how about core stage production? Because the whole justification for this is that, exploration upper stage is late, right? But core stage production is not better either. Like, core stage 3 is going to be on time because Artemis 3 has been delayed quite a lot, because Artemis 2 has also been delayed quite a lot. But just to put in perspective, like core stage 4, I don't think they have even put the Sophie on the tanks, which is something that normally for the past 3 cores has happened like 2 or 3 years before they launch. It's bonkers. Like, and then there's Artemis 5 with core stage 5, also within the same year. I just don't see this working, even with a change of upper stage, because there are so many things going on. And of course, there's the human landing system and everything, but like just looking at SLS itself, I just don't see it. So that's where I am right now, where it's like, I would love to have more information on how they're going to be able to do this, because it's not the first time. And because I have had many rants on previous Flame Trenches where I've been saying that what should have been done is accelerate, either cancel SLS straight away or have a way to accelerate the cadence of production, and not just exploration upper stage, but I just said, core stage production. It's something that takes years to do, just one core stage. There are many in parallel, that's true. But it still takes quite a lot of time between missions. And so it's like, how are you going to ensure that this is going to happen? This is something that should have happened during Jim's career at NASA, right? Like 5 or 6 years ago. This should have been something 2019, 2020, when they were rushing to make the first core core stage. And so it's something that I just and like, and don't get me wrong, like I see Jared's intentions are well meant, and like he's doing all he can and everything, but it's like I just need more concrete information before making up my mind, right? It's like,
Well, I think
I don't
that
know.
part of NASA's efforts to try and streamline core stage production on that front is to bring the actual barrel sections in from a chute via into the into KSC via the Pegasus barge, and then over in High Bay 2, they have a big blue cage structure which they're going to be using to attach the actual barrel section to the boat tail or the engine section for the core
Yeah,
stage.
but that was already done. Like,
Right.
that was a plan that Boeing put in place like 2022, which is a long time ago. And I really doubt that that's going to improve anything. To be fair, I have serious doubts about that. But still, like, where are you gonna do all of this? And as EJ was mentioning, like, what's gonna happen after Artemis 5, right? They are not willing to talk about what's gonna happen after that. Is it now gonna be the time then after that to, switch over to something else, right? Is there gonna be any funding for that something else?
Okay. Yeah, dude.
That's my reaction.
Yeah, no, Alex, like that's why I said what I said, dude. Like every time somebody's tried to do this in the past, they've failed miserably. Like this has never worked. Oh, let's not fly the Saturn V. That's too expensive. We'll fly with the space shuttle, right? Like the space shuttle will save us money and we'll get back to the moon in the 80s. Yeah, that worked.
And to be fair, like
didn't.
he's doing efforts, like, to his credit, he's doing efforts with the NASA Force thing and everything, and trying to bring core competencies. I don't know how to pronounce that one.
Core competencies.
Yeah, that one.
I got you, man.
You know what I mean.
I do.
But like, he's trying to do all that, but it's not gonna be, like flip a switch and suddenly everything works, right? Like even this, EJ, I gotta tell you, because I actually went back a bit, through archives, if you will. NASA has been looking at alternative upper stages for SLS for a long time, because even from the inception, they knew the exploration upper stage is expensive and behind behind schedule. And I'm gonna preface here a little bit of what I'm talking later, which is this is actually the first time that Congress is behind canceling exploration upper stage.
Yeah,
because
it's crazy.
in previous times, all NASA could do, multiple different administrations, I'm talking like multiple different presidents as well. Like, this is not just one side or the other or whatever. Like, this is not even political or anything. It's just like every single new administration that came to NASA, ever since the exploration upper stage was put into law, they went like, no, we don't like this. This is, you can imagine the word. Like, there have been so many attempts, and the only thing they've been able to do is just delay the introduction of the exploration upper stage. Originally, it was supposed to be Artemis 2, right? And even then, it was like 2021. Like, Artemis 2 was supposed to be it was supposed to be 2021. And it was when it was Exploration Mission 2 and everything. Then they delayed that to 3 and then to 4. And then every single time they tried to look up for new upper stages. And this is from 2019. This was when, like, they were looking around and they were saying, okay, let's see. And then Blue Origin went, hey, we have our upper stage. And the problem with Blue's upper stage is that it's too long to fit through the VAV doors. And that was one of the many things that they said, we don't want it.
Didn't they also cite schedule pressure? Like, the New Glenn upper stage is not going to be done in time? Like, okay.
But then if you remember, back in 2024, there was also another report by Eric Berger as well, talking about Centaur 5. And I remember at the time saying, I don't mind Centaur 5 because ULA has many of it. They have a full production, unlike the exploration upper stage, where, it's a complete new upper stage, and it's supposed, in quotes here, to use the same tooling as the core stage, because the hydrogen tank on the exploration upper stage is the same diameter, but then you have the oxygen tank below, which is a different diameter. Whatever. I didn't like that idea, and I said I actually think Centaur 5, it's not bad. Just need to figure out how to do it. But it's one of those things where it's like, if you want SLS to fly more often, this is the thing. But that was in 2024. Now we're talking about an even more compressed schedule, which is why I'm saying I have no idea what they're
But
going to do.
at least they have a lot of the hardware that they're going to need to actually back up these claims and this very lofty timeline goal that they have set for themselves, right? That's why I don't really buy that much into the whole pessimism about, oh, this is every single time they've tried to shift this or shift the program's goals by X or Y amount, that it's always failed. Like I don't buy into that this time. I really don't, because they have,
Like
again,
I said,
they
it's
have
unprecedented, dude. Yeah, I mean
it
that's
only
what I would
needs
have
to
told
work
you.
once, EJ. It only needs to work once at this point. Like it's failed every single time you say to this point. It's always failed, but in this case, it only needs to work once for it to work at all. If they can get this figured out, they're set with SLS and the Artemis program for a long time. Like they are on. I genuinely believe that they're fully onto something here now. It's not just hopes and dreams and just kicking a can down the road, hoping the EUS will be ready in 4 to 5 years.
So what are they doing after Artemis 5 then?
They could use more Centaurs.
To do what?
Will they use more core stages though? So this is the funny thing.
Yeah, like
core
what do you
stage-
mean, man? This is if anything, this short changes SLS and kind of
The core
like, what are you
stage
gonna do
contract
with
only
it?
goes to 5. So
Really?
Yeah. There's no contract for after that.
Didn't the
Wouldn't it be funny if they made a new one where it's like we can use a super heavy or something like that?
Oh,
for
Oh God!
stage.
Oh God!
Do the same thing that they're doing for this instead of change. Like we'll standardize the core state or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, it currently only goes to 5. I think this is from 5. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, in the back channel.
Yeah, Artemis 5.
Yeah, these are barrel sections for 5.
I thought that the one big beautiful bill, Alex, gave funding out to Artemis 8.
No, to 5.
It was
It
just
was 4. It was 4. I think it was 4 and 5. But yeah,
It's 4 and 5. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
In fact, this whole thing is using funding from that because
Yeah.
watch for this because I checked the language from that bill.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't explicitly say that it needs to use the exploration upper stage. It only says that it's for the SLS, for Artemis 4 and 5. Could be any configuration of SLS as long as it's called SLS, I guess.
It doesn't say Block 1B. Doesn't say Block 2. It just says SLS. So
So, yeah, that's the
All
funny
right.
thing here.
All right, fellas, I'm gonna adjust the elephant in the room. Max, you saying like this is good for SLS for potentially like out to Artemis 30 or Artemis 40, blah 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 blah. Dude, this relegates. So this removes SLS's capability of co-manifesting payloads. So I think we can all agree that building the gateway is pretty much dead at this point, right? Like, so I think this kind of short changes SLS, right? Okay, what is SLS's role in this standardized configuration when? Okay, I'll address the element when Starship has a human rating certification. What's the point? What's the point? There's got to be some place that this architecture goes somewhere other than just you can put people into lunar orbit with this. That's great. Like, what, Max? What are we doing with SLS? Like you said like, oh, this is going to open up the door for so many things down the road. Like what? What are you talking about?
I mean, assuming that's a good question, EJ. I don't have the best of answers for that right now. I genuinely don't. But
I'm not looking for like an official on the record answer. What do you think?
Well, if they wanted to extend SLS's usage for maybe 2 or 3 more flights, if the need ever arose, say if a cargo variant of SLS they wanted to bring that back to launch, I guess further components for a lunar base, which arguably Starship could as well, obviously, but that all depends on if Starship is ready at that point or if there's something that they want SLS to use. I don't know if they have a use for it that Congress can actually find a good reason to use it for. But again, I think the biggest benefit of this is that they're making a genuinely good use for SLS for the time that they do for sure have it with the actual contracts that they have in line through Artemis 5. Because after Artemis 3, it's like, what are they in my opinion, it's like, what are they launching it for with the EOS? Like, where's it going to go? Like, what's it going to do? So
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I,
Alex.
I think Max.
So you don't know. All right. Like that's what I mean. Alex, what about you?
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah,
think
to
they're going
add-
to go with this?
To add to what I said earlier, bringing back my comment from a couple of years ago, where I was like, I don't understand why SLS even had the exploration upper stage in the first place. By the time we got to like 2022 or 2023, it was clear that it was just going to be launching Orion. And yes, you have, two potential modules of Gateway. Like under the previous plan was that Artemis 4 and 5 was going to fly with Block 1B, Exploration Upper Stage, and therefore there will be some co-manifested payload, in this case, two of the modules of Gateway. And I was like, but you can launch those on a commercial rocket, right?
Yep.
Just like you can do now also the lunar base with commercial rockets and commercial landers. And it's like, because SLS doesn't even land on the moon or anything. All it can do is just, yeet things out to the moon in the direction of the moon and say, good luck, right? Like, and to do that, you don't need the exploration upper stage. Like, it's nonsense, right? So it's one of those things where it's like, beyond Artemis 6 or Artemis 5, excuse me. So to what EJ said, because he mentioned that it is true that in the latest documentation, it does say that they are asking ULA for a flight spare of that Centaur. So like 2 Centaur upper stages plus a spare. So in theory, they could launch an Artemis 6, so to speak, right? But after that, what's going to happen? And then you go into like, well, after Artemis 9, like, well, you have 7, 8, and then 9 needs Bole because you no longer have the SRBs from shuttle and things like that, and so you need new boosters. Right. And then when you go into that, it's like, well, now you need ML2 because ML1 cannot support Bole. It can only be on Mobile Launcher 2, and it's like, you can go on and on and on and on. When are they doing the transition, right? Like, I feel like mentally here, behind all of my questions is that the center of all of it is, when are you moving away from SLS? And then from there, you tell me how many launches you're going to do of SLS. Like, I feel this is just like sweeping the dust under the rug and being like, somebody else will deal with it in the future. But we'll see.
Dude, I'm going back and forth with people in chat, guys. Like, people are like, oh, just get rid of SLS, get rid of SLS. I don't think you guys understand how dumb that actually is to do. Like, people are saying, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. No, do not get rid of it until you have another alternative up and ready to go. Otherwise, you're going to get a stopgap. Getting a stopgap and working off of the promise of a commercial launcher sometime in the future to do what SLS can do right now is not a good idea. That's not good from that's not a good idea from a spaceflight perspective. Once again, that's what I'm talking about, dudes. The Apollo-Soyuz test project, 1975, like July 1975. Oh, don't worry about it. We'll have a very short stopgap. The space shuttle will be flying by 1979. It'll be great. It'll be perfect. And then we could go back to doing all that moon stuff again, just with a fully reusable orbiter, and we're good to go. No, it didn't work that way. The space shuttle didn't fly until 81 because of unforeseen circumstances. You never abandon hardware on a promise. That's dumb, right? That's stupid. Look, when Starship gets its human rating certification, when that's going to happen, because it will, then I'll change my tune. All right. But that's not happening anytime soon. Just something to think about.
You also if you want to do that, you also have to figure out how to fly Orion in general, because Orion currently is the only human rated capsule able to fly or able to support humans beyond low Earth orbit. Dragon can't do that. Starliner for sure can't do that. And as far as we know, Blue Origin doesn't have any alternative or a capsule of their own to use. So Orion is your only bet at the moment. And at that point, you have Falcon. You could use Falcon Heavy, a fully expendable Falcon Heavy, which is not yet crew rated, mind you. It's not crew rated, and would take a lot of time and effort and money to do so for maybe 1 or 2 launches in the meantime. You could crew rate You could crew rate Vulcan, but I think given the most recent flights, that's probably not a thought process we want to go too deep into right now. You could also crew rate New Glenn. That is also an option. But again, the effort and money and time required to do all of that, you may as well just use the hardware that you already have flying, which is SLS. So again, just to kind of piggyback off of what EJ was saying, that's not a good idea.
There's no doubt that if we could run back the clock, right? Like if we could, and I've said this many times, where it's like if you were now dropped into some random past decade between Apollo and now, and you were told, okay, go back to the moon with the technology that you have, and it's like, it's the end of the shuttle program. You're basically just with that technology. What do you build? Something like Ares 5, something like Ares 1. Of course, Constellation was just a child of its era, right? And then we got SLS, because SLS is just some kind of
jobs program.
Diet Ares 5, if you will.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Hold up a second, Alex.
But you know what I mean, right? Like if you were to run back the clock with what we know now, it's like, sure, you can like strap a bunch of Merlins and like make a big Falcon Heavy or something like, but we have what we have, right? And the capabilities are being developed right now, New Glenn and Starship and everything, and so it should be parallel, not like develop things, finish one thing then the other. You know what I mean? I'm actually saying what you said, EJ, that you shouldn't abandon the capability.
Yeah, that every time we've done that, it's failed miserably. Like, that's a really, really bad idea. Good. I just wanted to wrap my mind around it. I was like, wait, what are you saying? Like,
I'm trying to mean that, at the time that this rocket was conceived,
there wasn't anything. It was a promise.
Yeah, Falcon 9 had launched twice.
Right.
Like the only thing that you could have is like some kind of weird mix. And to be fair, like NASA also studied those things, but it would have meant probably more development time and more cost plus contracts. And we all know what that would have meant. But like, there were other proposals out there for like, modifying Atlas or modified Delta and make like a big Atlas or a big Delta.
Yeah.
And SpaceX was like, we have Falcon X, which can do 120 tons to low Earth orbit, and these mega proposals for big rockets and everything. But then it's like, yeah, Congress is gonna Congress, and so. But
well, like that's the thing, man. You see, it's people very, very short to forget their history, Alex. Like, the reason why we got SLS in the first place is because, somebody proposed to pull the rug out on the Constellation program for the exact same reasons we're pulling the plug on ML2 in the EUS right now. And we got something ridiculous because of it. We got SLS, right? Let's not do that because there's commercial alternatives. There's off-the-shelf alternative. How's that off-the-shelf alternative Delta 4 stage working for you right now? Specifically those helium valves, right? Like, look, man. People don't get confused, folks. Like, I'm not saying that SLS needs to survive for another 20 or 30 years. The second that commercial can eclipse the behavior and NASA can procure services, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But until then, abandoning rockets for no reason other than a promise of what commercial might be able to do in the future, that's not smart, man. That's not how you do space flight. That's pretty bad, actually.
Yeah. I guess you can liken that to the situation with the station and having to rely on Soyuz and everything, right? Where it's like,
yeah,
you retire the shuttle, but now, like the commercial crew program is wonderful. We know the success of Crew Dragon, but it took a while to get there, right? I feel like this is the same thing where it's like, it will be sort of as if you were keeping the shuttle around, right? And flying it. And then at the same time doing commercial crew. There were also ideas for doing that. Now, don't get me wrong. Like there were some ideas out there of like flying shuttle maybe twice a year to do rotation missions and things like that, or like logistics missions, while still developing commercial capabilities. This will be the same, but for deep space. And I think for me, what I'm missing is the NASA side, where NASA says, okay, let's do an alternative, commercial alternative, a program that is about this, a commercial deep space crew or something like that. I don't know, right? What you know what I mean? Like actually formalize it, make it a program, and make it such that there's the same sort of freedom that the companies were sort of granted during the commercial crew program, where it was like, you can do late load and go and things like that, right? Like you don't need an escape tower. You can just have the escape system on your own, right? Like those kinds of things where the companies on their own propose their own ways of accomplishing the mission, as long as they sort of go and do X, Y, and Z. The rest doesn't matter as long as you are able to do X, Y, and Z, and also demonstrate that you are able to do it safely. It feels to me that will be the best ideal way to actually transition SLS once all of this is implemented, like this standardization and everything.
Yeah. That's what I'm getting at.
Transition.
Yeah, just slowly phase it out over time. Like, what would have been the smart decision if keep flying the shuttle? Yeah, no, that's perfect, dude. Absolutely. Yeah, just getting rid of it and consigning it to the history books already. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think we should keep building out its architecture. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to have the EUS. Like, guys, like, look, I'm never the optimist when it comes to SLS, but I'm not sure the EUS would have been ready this decade. Like, I don't mean to be a jerk about that, but I'm pretty sure this was the right call. Like, but like I said, this is unprecedented in history. We've never seen this before. Nothing has happened this quickly. Max, what's up?
To play devil's advocate just for a second, EJ, isn't that kind of what they're already doing? Is kind of slowly phasing SLS out for what it is, with trying to figure out a way to keep it flying while they still have it, while also giving commercial partners time to catch up and accomplish what they need to. Because think about it, Artemis 5 is not going to be flying anytime soon. Like, that's at least 3 to 4 years out, at the earliest. And by that time, assuming Artemis 6 is not going to happen, or at least SLS is not going to fly for a sixth time, imagine where Starship is going to be by that point. Imagine where New Glenn is going to be at that point, where other commercial partners are going to be with their own capabilities by that point. Again, I hear your point about not phasing out a rocket or a program before hardware is ready to replace it, but that's still 3, 4, 5 years out at least. So there's a lot, and as we've seen in the last 3 or 4 years, a lot can happen in 3, 4, 5 years.
I guess, dude, but it's
not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. I fully understand that.
And Max, there ain't no guarantees in space flight. Like, I don't think off ramping SLS, on the promise of commercial in the future, and is a wise decision until it's a surefire thing. I think that's pretty dang reasonable, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I would keep building it out until it has a replacement. I'm just saying, like, I think that's smart. I think that's the wise decision.
Everybody just.
I'm just trying to figure out. Let's move on. I'm
what are you trying to figure out?
I'm trying to figure out how to phrase what I'm thinking in my head.
Well, take your time. We got time.
But I get it. I think we are all three in the same place here, where it's like we have to give them a chance. And of course, I'm probably less optimistic on the timelines, to be fair, from past experience. But I do think we're going to get to a point where SLS is just going to be like, this is useless, right? Like, I was going to say
that's ideally best case scenario, right? If SLS becomes obsolete and useless because other rockets can have either the same or better capability,
and multiple rockets and multiple architectures, like this is the future. Like, we know that there's New Glenn 9x4 apparently now supposedly doing it in like late 2027. We'll see. Again, timelines. I'm the most pessimistic of people in terms of timelines. But in terms of promises, you tell me, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I'm like, yeah, please give me all that. Like, I'm just Yeah.
Give me
right?
all the hopium.
Exactly. Give me all the hopium. Just don't tell me when, please. Because I'm gonna say no. But I truly believe, if I were to put my own sort of realistic timeline, if you will, I will say that probably in the early 2030s, this is gonna be a realistic approach where it's like, there's gonna be some kind of architecture, not just one, but like maybe multiple architectures in place from different providers on how to do this, the same sort of mission with different hardware that is also reusable, more cost effective.
Yep.
Hopium, please.
I just,
to me.
I mean, you guys, just thinking about this as a whole, I don't know, like, now Orion and Centaur do have common avionics, which is pretty dang cool, right?
Yeah.
But we learned that from the sole source thing, and that does make sense because the ICPS and Centaur 5 share common avionics, because when Tori Bruno was at ULA a number of years back, he standardized the avionics architecture between the ICP, between Delta and Atlas, and then Vulcan as well. So they can talk to each other, which if you work in spaceflight avionics, that's a big deal. So that is pretty cool. But I don't know, man. I don't know if they can, it's not just plugging that. I mean, that's a good plug and play thing that you have there. That's fine. And you guys talking about making a launch vehicle staging adapter, but guys, changing the angle of the conic adapter on SLS is you're going to have to revalidate SLS's aero. The aerodynamics are going to have to be completely revalidated. Alex, you were saying don't, worry about timelines, et cetera, et cetera. Can they get this done by 2028, right? Like, that's where I'm kind of wondering, like, this revised version of SLS is going to need a lot of aerodynamic analysis redone at this point. I mean, you could probably use some of it from Block 1B, but who knows? I mean,
even Block 1 so far, EJ, has already gone through some change in that there's two white fins in between the very top of the SRBs on the core stage because of what they learned with airflow from the Artemis 1 mission. So it's not like, I feel like every single SLS that flies to this point is going to have marginal improvement in differential compared to the one that flew last because of what they learned on the previous flights. So, but that being said, the shape of the rocket is not going to change substantially compared to what it is now. If you were throwing on a stage that was, I don't know, like 2 meters in diameter or something, like super small, like Thor Able like vibes or something, it's a different story. Or like Starliner on top of Centaur 3, right? Where you have that aero skirt to prevent the shockwaves from propagating on top of the actual stage itself. But it's not going to look that different.
The thing is, whatever they do, they still need a new LVSA. Can we show it again?
Yeah.
There's no, like,
they have to regardless to fit Centaur 5. Yeah.
There's no LVSA for 4 and 5 because it was never meant, like, there were only 3 made of these.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So either way, they're gonna have to build something new. Might as well just do it such that it can fit Centaur and still not move the total height of the rocket.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I mean, yeah, guys, the reason why I brought it up is not necessarily that they can't make another damn cone. They can make another cone. But it's not just that. It's cone. It's not just that, right? Like it's
By the way, this is not built by ULA or Boeing. This is a different company. This is the funny thing of SLS. Like, these things are built differently by different companies. I think at one point this was Dynetics or something like that.
Oh.
Or maybe Teledyne or something like that. I have no idea.
Remember.
I don't remember because there are so many companies.
Teledynetics, 3 Harris, Aerojet, RTX, Theon.
But yeah, I had seen some comments talking about can't ULA just make a new adapter? And it's like, this is not even made by ULA or Boeing. This is a whole different company that makes these.
What was What's that? Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry. I'm gonna worry about it now, EJ. Come on.
Dude, it sounded like someone running up a flight of stairs. You guys didn't hear that?
No, I didn't hear that at all.
No.
Okay, never mind. All right, it was probably just me then. I'm probably just hearing things.
EJ's haunted. This just in. Breaking news.
Breaking news, it's haunted. It's either that or someone's coming in my garage, in which case I might need to dip out for a second. Anyway, moving on. So, guys, I think we discussed this pretty dang good. But okay, let's I got another conditional hypothetical here. All right, say this thing does work, say they get Centaur working, say we get an optimized version of Centaur. Do you think ULA is going to bring back like ACEs, the advanced cryogenic evolved stage? Right, which ULA was proposing this as like a reusable architecture at some point for a reusable upper stage. It can be refilled. That has like 3 to 6 month loiter time. Do you think that's where they're going with this? Because I'll be honest with you guys, if it, I would want a bigger upper stage for SLS, but also if they switch it to Centaur 5 and then eventually bridge that into ACEs, that means Orion could jump into low lunar orbit, because the Centaur with ACEs could do your circularization burn around the moon, and you could insert Orion into low lunar, in which case its service module has enough to get all the way back from low lunar back to Earth on a trans-Earth injection, right? Do you think we'll see something like ACEs, Max, in the future?
I mean, at that point, in order for ACEs to make sense long term, you need SLS or a sustainable way of flying Orion to keep going, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense, at least for the purposes of the Artemis program, right? Mm-hmm. So that all circles back to the point of, is SLS going to have a purpose or a life after Artemis 5? Like,
well, let's say that it does. Let's say that that's the way that NASA decides that they want to get going. I mean, personally, dude, now that I'm really thinking about it, Max, like, dude, there's no way Congress is going to get rid of the pork. You know what I mean? Like, the reason why they dumped the IUS is because they increased core stage cadence, right? Like, there's no way. I mean, unless I'm wrong, like,
I mean, maybe if they can find some use for it, or if they can find a purpose to keep, if they can find a purpose to keep SLS running in the long term for maybe until like, I don't know, Artemis 8, 9, 10 or something, it would make sense 100%, especially if ACES holds up to its claims of staying in orbit for, what was it, like 3 to 6 months or something?
3 to 6 months loiter time, with
which is insane for any sort of cryo stage or tank at all, because that is sort of like what SpaceX wants to do with the in-orbit tanker, but like turned up to like 13 in terms of how long it can stay up there with propellants on board, right? So if they can find a use for SLS and Orion long-term beyond Artemis 5, 100% it makes sense. 100%. Mm-hmm. But as it is right now, no. But a lot can change in 3 to 5 years, and maybe they'll find SLS will find its second wind, and there'll be more contracts laid out for missions beyond Artemis 5. I don't know. That is, as you were saying, one of the unknown unknowns. Mm-hmm. We can only see what we have in front of us and interpret of like what we can see.
Yeah,
so
dude, it's definitely like you could go places with this, and you could. Once again,
yeah,
I think it'd be good for SLS to keep flying until Starship's human rated for sure, and then just give it an off ramp from there, have a slight overlap like what Alex was talking about, and go from there. Anyway, I think we've hashed this one out pretty good. I mean, some people are going to end up hating me anyway. Like, I don't know, I'm just trying to make some conversation. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to plow through the support here real quick, and then we'll move over to the next thing. So we got Tom Maswell becoming a Red Team member. Thank you very, very much. Do appreciate it. Oliver Redman with the $6.43 super chat. It's always a pleasure to have Alex on the trench. Well, yeah, obvious. Yeah, of course, man. He's Alex. The knowledge drops are worth the price of admission all day. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, what was that noise? What was that noise? Yeah. The Ethereal Swordsman with a $5 super chat. Don't mind me, just tuning in. Violent tornado just smacked a town in Michigan. Oh, jeez.
In Michigan?
Yeah, I hope everything's okay. Jeez, I hope everything's all right. Keep you in my thoughts, man. All right, Cool. All right. So sailing with the $20 super chat. 1 point NASA budget has SLS and ISS on their books with Flight 5 going out to the end of the decade. I think NASA is waiting for the ISS to be decommissioned and all the funding for ISS will become available. It's fun. It's funny you mentioned that. It's funny you mentioned that. Yeah, it's funny.
Apart from that,
It's funny.
there's news about the ISS. We'll talk about that.
Yeah,
Yes.
Alex
More on
will,
that in a bit.
Yeah, Alex will clue you in. Yeah. You guys know what necromancy is? Like, just
The ISS
saying.
refuses to die.
Yeah,
Anyway.
right. Chromatic CC gifted a red team membership. Thank you very much. And we got Fawad Raza here with the 10-pound super chat. Okay, what about new crew? Since this poor crew trained just for a round trip, what are the next SLS crew? Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. And then we got Ort Cloud with a $5 tip. Tips.nasaspaceflight.com. Thank you very much. I'll be undergoing my commercial pilot license training here pretty soon. So unlike the EUS, I'll be flying.
Whoa!
Well done. Well done, Orc Cloud.
Damn, dude.
It's like Kelso from that 70 show.
Whoa.
Bird!
Boom. Jeez. Thank you for the
Oh my
support as
God.
always, guys.
Brutal. Jesus.
Dude, that's bad. All right.
So good, though. That was pretty good.
Okay. Anyway, are we good for the next topic? Alex, tee us up. Is the ISS dead or not?
Well, it's not dying yet, but yeah. So on the heels of all of these announcements that we got from NASA, we got the NASA Reauthorization Act of 2026. It's a process that's been ongoing. It was actually supposed to be the NASA Authorization Act of 2025, and now it's 2026 because Congress works that way. They like to delay things, I guess. And yeah, so now it's 2026. They are amending the Authorization Act that they were sort of working on last year, and there are many things, and especially from the two of the top, Senator Ted Cruz and Maria Cantwell. Those two are the chairman and ranking member of the Science Committee. It's like Commerce, Science, and Transportation. I think it's the full name of the committee. And so what they've done is now, after doing all of their, Hill stuff and everything, all of their capital stuff. So this is the amendment that they added. They moved the bill up to the full Senate, from the committee to the Senate. Then the Senate will add more amendments, blah, blah. It's a thing that drives me crazy, but it's in the process. And in this amendment, there's like a bunch of things that are included. I'm just going to briefly mention here. EUS, you can cancel it. We're good with that. Recommends the administrator to move the development of the exploration spacesuits, the lunar spacesuits, back to NASA. That's quite interesting. Establishes or directs NASA to establish a lunar surface base, permanently crewed, by the way, which is not quite bad. I'm going to say it's quite interesting.
I like that.
And in terms of low Earth orbit, as we were mentioning, the ISS is not dying anytime soon. It's going to be extended for another 2 more years. There's also a few more extra things that we can talk about. I can go in a bit more detail about why they're extending that by 2 years, but we'll discuss. Moon base, folks. Like,
go ahead.
I think that's some of the biggest news from this amendment. I'm sorry to Jay because he's struggling to find this. I think, hang on, I actually have notes from Twist because this is going in this week in Spaceflight. Hang on, give me a second. It is page 24 of the amendment. Okay, so page 24, it talks about that. And one of the things that I really am interested on, EJ, you're probably going to be very happy about this, if I'm sure you've read it, is that it doesn't tell NASA to immediately have a permanently crewed base. Just work towards it. And by that I mean that it sort of encourages an iterative approach where initially you deploy some assets, you have a continuous capability as it calls, but not a continuous presence, which is different. Capability is like you have all the time assets there on the surface of the moon, where if you bring your crew, you'll be able to stay there for a while, right? And that's sort of the thing that it talks about. And then you move from that minimal sort of base to a permanent one. And if you think about it, it sounds a lot like what Vast is doing with Haven 1, sort of like a minimal approach to a space station, and then move on to the bigger one, Haven 2, where they do multiple modules and everything, can support a permanent crew. I think it's like 3 or 4 at a time. That is very important because that is where we're living right now with commercial entities and things like that, with commercialization, where it's like you first build something that sort of works, try to figure things out, logistics and things like that, and then you move on to permanent habitation and things like that.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sorry to Jay, by the way. This is actually like a scan of the document. It is not the actual document, so it's really complicated to search for things, and he's struggling to search for that. But props to Jay for that.
Alex, do you think? I mean, I don't know, man. I've seen many like ASAP reports saying that the ISS is not gonna be. It's gonna get to the point where it's gonna get a little unsafe in the future. Like, even you guys, I want to give you guys some context. Like, the original plan, even with the Artemis program, was to get rid of the ISS in 2024.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 2032 is 8 extra years on a station that is ridiculously old. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Alex. They extended it because they wanted They want an overlap. It's the same reason that I've been talking about with SLS. They want to overlap for commercial stations, right? I don't necessarily.
And there's even.
What's up?
And there's even like a limit time. It should be, I think, pages 48 and 49, where it talks about that there should be an overlap for at least 180 days. So basically half a year. Like, not only there should be another station online and capable of having crew, but it should have had crew for at least half a year. And then they can, so both ISS and that other station would be running at the same time. It also tells NASA to please hurry up and do the contracting, which is funny because it's like, Congress, give the money, come on. Right? Like there are multiple sections where it talks about the administration should submit, blah, blah, blah. Like they talk about many things of like having time, like very short timelines on contracting and things like that, like hurry up NASA basically. And yeah, like, yeah, the transition and everything, they have to they have to be briefed from the administrator on what's going on with the programs and everything. It's a mess. They do say that there needs to be at least 2 different providers, but it doesn't say that for the transition.
What?
For the transition, there doesn't need to be 2, so only 1.
Oh.
1, and that there's 180 days of continued presence of crew.
Dude.
To fully transition.
And the only 2 contenders that really have any foot or a hand in that fight are Axiom and Vast. And Axiom were the ones who wanted to begin their station by literally attaching their own modules to the International Space Station until they were going to decommission the ISS and then separate the 2, and then Axiom Station would become their own. But I cringed at the statement alone saying that they already wanted to extend it to 2032 when the recent ASAP report used very strong language in the fact that not only is it becoming less safe over time because of its age and mechanical wear, but also the decreasing number of people on the ground able to help out in staffing ISS control and monitoring.
Yep.
And you want to add 2 more years onto its timeline with that.
Dude, this is... Max, like, do you see what I'm saying? When like, just, I mean, it's kind of just going back to what we were saying before. Like, do you see what I mean? Like, everybody's tried to do stuff like this has failed miserably. Like, these are not. This is not an easy thing to do. I mean, Jared has his work cut out for him, and dude, if anybody can do it, I think he could. But man,
I think circumstances are much different this time.
Yeah,
in
for
that,
sure, for sure.
I mean, post shuttle, we didn't really, or post Apollo, we didn't really have any goal except our own pride, really, to establish a longer term presence in space with the space shuttle, and then eventually with the International Space Station. Like, there wasn't any sort of political backing or political motive at that point. Now there is. There is active pushing, or there's active motivation, or like kicks in the butt from the powers that be in our nation's capital against those in Asia, China, right? So we once again have that fire of a battle for ideologies fueling this current space race and our desires to get where we need to go. So I think we are under much different circumstances here, and not to sound too cliche and quote Gene Kranz, it doesn't seem like failure is an option here. And I think having as many options as they possibly can, even if they have to slip out 2-3 years, either with the space station or with the base on the moon, I think is going to be, it's not the end of the world, but our margins for safety here are getting smaller and smaller, just in terms of talking about the International Space Station. And if we want to start cramming timelines, not just for Artemis, but for getting a commercial replacement up and being tried in orbit, a lot of unknowns and a lot of question marks. So we are in a much different climate now. We are under much different circumstances. We aren't doing something just for the sake of doing it, or because we think we want to do it. We know we want to do this just as a country and as a what? Go ahead.
You're saying that's the difference, right, between this time and other times?
Correct.
Like,
correct. There's an actual fire underneath the butts of those with their hands in the fight here. So, and I think Jared has been making that very clear. He's been making that very clear in all of his recent statements and announcements. So, I view it as a positive because we haven't really had this much motive behind those in the aerospace sector to get this stuff done in a reasonable timeline. I think is the wrong terminology, but an aggressive timeline in a long time. And it's certainly a much different environment than the time between 2011 and 2020, when between the shuttle being retired and DM2 taking flight. It's not. We live in a much different world now.
I hope. I mean, I don't know. Like, another thing to kind of bring up, Max, is like, is a space program, or is a space race what it needs to get our space program doing things? You know, you remember what happened at the end of the last space race, like that.
Yeah, but
you know,
again, I think
exploding.
What's that?
What? Sorry, I don't know. Like, remember what happened at the end of the space race? I don't know. Like, N1 exploding.
But I think at that point the end goals were different. It was just touch the moon. If you touch the moon and come back, you win. Our goal this time is to stay, and the infrastructure that we want to build to support it will support a further presence beyond the moon, aka Mars, right? And I think it's not just it wouldn't serve just a benefit for the benefit of science, but also, as much as I don't know if cliche is the way to put it, but having a military presence on the moon, or any entity that is new to any superpower, is certainly a strong motivating factor. And that was obviously one of the main factors behind our serious push during Apollo. I think any bits of research that we get for the sake of science and other technologies would be bonuses. But I think, given the current climate that we are seeing, there are much stronger factors that are serving as I can't say the word motives. I guess it's just serving as motives for those that be in charge. So
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't know, man. The motives, yeah. I mean, you could argue that. You could argue that, like, oh, it's just flagship footprints for the space race. But the Apollo applications program suggested that they didn't plan on canceling the program in 1972. Like, I'm just putting it out there. Like, Apollo had every intention of going further than that too, and they didn't. Like.
Well, they had the desire to, but looking back in the grand scheme of things, the technology was not there to support a long-term presence off-world. And I think we... Go ahead, Alex.
Because Apollo applications program, it sort of feels more like the asteroid redirect mission for SLS. You know what I mean?
What?
Right? Let's try and do some cool stuff with the hardware that we have. It feels to me like that, at the very least. Like, it didn't expand much, only of like, let's modify things around. Am I explaining myself clearly?
The applications program was use the hardware that we use to make flag and footprints and go further with it and keep building it out.
But it wouldn't have been sustainable either way.
It wouldn't have. And we also had the stated goal or prediction that we'd be on Mars by 1975.
Wait, when you say sustainable, what do you mean?
Able to stay there.
Well, I mean, from the Apollo applications program, the only thing that survived was the concept of Skylab. And it wasn't even the original concept, because the original concept was actually a wet workshop. It ended up being a dry one.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's there in the fact that it died off because it was not sustainable. Even the applications program died off. They completely cut off the whole thing. They had many plans, but it was not sustainable.
What you keep saying that? What does sustainable mean? In
the
this
same
context?
thing that you were mentioning before, EJ, about the shuttle. Oh, shuttle will do this and will do that, and then they start flying it. First, it's delayed, and then it's also expensive. It doesn't meet cost and schedule goals, and it's like.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
The Saturn V launched very often. It was very capable, but it was very expensive, right? And that was one of the main things that, I mean, the production of Saturn V was canceled even before Apollo 11. So, like, what am I going to say?
Shuttle itself was supposed to be a lot less expensive and very sustainable, and then we had issues like Challenger and Columbia, which made Titan 3, Titan 4, Delta 2, Delta 4, any or other classes of rockets that much more viable and desirable because of their lesser cost. So it's a whole big can of worms. It's a really big can of worms. Yes,
coming back to ISS and more, new stuff, I guess. One of the points that I was going to make here is that, do we really think that the ISS is really, like, so close to the brink of, like, disaster, or that we can carry the risk for as long, like, to maintain permanent presence in low Earth orbit? Is that something? Because think about this, and it's funny enough, I'm the European here, where I'm like, you are the U.S. government, and you're like, we need permanent presence in space, right? If you deorbit the ISS and there's no capability online at the time that can support and is demonstrated to support a permanent crewed expedition and things like that in their station, that essentially means the only other station around is the Chinese space station.
Yep, can't have that.
Right? And so, like, from a patriotic sort of point of view, you can think about it like, we're not tolerating this. And in fact, there's like parts of the documentation where it's like, the Chinese space station and blow, like they talk, before making their argument of, the administration should do X, Y, and Z, they sort of give their own senses. The Congress senses that, and all that stuff. Or finds that, and so they explain the rationale to sort of say that NASA should do X, Y, and Z, right? And one of the things they mention is, of course, the Chinese space station, and it's like, like that's sort of their point of view, and I can understand it whether I agree or not, I don't think anybody cares, but I understand it, and I think that's where they're coming from, right? Where it's like we are willing to tolerate the risk for an extra 2 years if that means we can have permanent presence in low Earth orbit.
I
But
mean,
again,
also,
as
if
we
it
were
was,
mentioning, funding. Where's the
but
funding? Where's the money?
I mean, also on that point, Alex, if the ISS was in literal immediate danger and a serious risk to life, they would not keep sending crew up to the space station. They just wouldn't.
Yeah.
If it was that big of a deal, but the fact that their confidence in its long-term safety is going down, it could be, obviously it could be viewed as a very negative connotation, but also that's just the reality of hardware that big, that complex in an environment as unfriendly as low Earth orbit, or just the vacuum of space in general, between the differentials in temperatures, the stresses that the station has to endure structurally and under pressure. It's a lot to ask of a piece of hardware that big and that complex for more than 30 years, right? So it's eyebrow raising for sure, but also it's like at some point we knew that the ISS, we knew that it wasn't going to be able to stay up there forever.
Yeah, and to be fair, there's also a part of the language in the bill where it talks about, that this continuous presence in low Earth orbit should be waived. I think that was the language. If the risk to the crew is high, like if something were to happen, it's what you just said, Max, right? Like if NASA were to know that there was impending danger and it was super, super risky for the crew, this bill, this amendment sort of, allows the administrator to say, yeah, of course, we need the crew back and we cannot, sustain this continued presence and blah, 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 right? Like that will be, it does say, by the way, I just remember that, because at one point there were rumors about potentially going down in the number of crew and cargo missions. It does say that there needs to be the same cadence and same number of crew until the transition. So like it forces NASA to not go down in crew missions and also in cargo missions as well. So like, again, where's the money? I feel like that's sort of the thorny point here, where it's like the thorny issue where it's like, all of that, it's good. I understand you, but fun.
Wait a minute. Did you just say that it calls for the more missions to? I mean, obviously, it calls for more missions to the ISS.
To keep the current cadence instead of like what they're trying is to force NASA to keep the current cadence of crew missions and cargo missions and number of crew, because there was at one point the whole thing of like, maybe we reduce the U.S. crew to 3. Maybe we fly Crew Dragons with just 3 people.
Okay, I got
right?
you.
There was that at one point, and so that's one of the things that this is sort of trying to, not put out, trying to avoid that being a thing. But again.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Just idle thought here. Does that mean we're going to see more Starliner missions to the ISS?
I mean,
sorry, that's where my mind went, dude.
I mean,
dude,
regardless, they're going to have to contract at least 3 more crew launches, if not 4, to supplement those extra 2 years, right?
Right?
And
yeah.
SpaceX wants to phase out Dragon as fast as they possibly can, because their long-term vision is crew capability on Starship. They don't want Dragon to be around long-term or longer than it needs to be, whether it be for NASA or for commercial partners or commercial customers, right? So that means either, I mean, if Starliner can actually work by that point, maybe 2 more Crew Dragon missions and maybe 2 more missions on Starliner, which they may or may not be willing to do either on the Boeing side or NASA side, plus 4 more cargo missions as well to supplement at least in that time. So you're not just asking more of the space station, but you're asking a lot more of the systems and vehicles on the ground that are used to support it. So wouldn't be I mean, it's entirely possible. Like it's not impossible by any means. I think Starliner would be in the forefront of that conversation, especially if SpaceX wants to stop flying Dragon, and hopefully by 2030, Boeing would have figured out Boeing Starliner at that point, right?
Dude.
So it's more factors into the equation to keep the ISS happy and running for an extra 2 years when it's already extremely old and fragile. Fragile is not the right word to use there, but nor is it falling apart. But it's aging. It's certainly aging, and it shows.
Wait, did you just suggest that Starliner will be the only way to get to the ISS because SpaceX wants to phase out Dragon?
If SpaceX if Boeing if Starliner is capable of flying reliably, and SpaceX is like, no, we're not flying any more Dragons. No,
it will be used for the commercial stations as well.
Oh God!
Like what are they using for the commercial stations?
Oh
right?
God!
Why are you flying to Haven?
Because Haven 1 and Haven 2 are going to be using Dragon specifically.
So I don't think Dragon is going away that soon. To be fair, like it feels to me.
Why are you laughing so hard, Chase? Why are you laughing so hard?
I'm not laughing
Compared to the alternative, it feels to me that the alternative is Starliner.
Yes.
And the future alternative is Starship and whatever Blue Origin develops, right?
Please.
But those are future.
Can you imagine, like, we act like the final ever crewed mission to the space station is Starship? Can you imagine this for a second?
Oh, please. Please.
How sick would that be?
Oh, I could. Dude.
How sick would that be?
No need for the US deorbit vehicle. Just smash the Starship to the station and it just deorbits. I don't know, man. It's like.
No,
Oh,
dude,
boy.
no.
Yeah.
Hold up. I'm cooking.
Let him cook.
You get a Starship up there with a payload bay, robotic arm, and longeron pins, and you start plucking modules off to bring them back down. All right, there you go. I said it. As long as we're gonna get crazy, all right. Let's do that.
Somehow just snaps as the Starship flips.
Yeah,
This Kibo is the longest module.
I mean, hey, you
Starship
can't say
flips
that,
and Kibo is like.
you can't say that it wouldn't fit. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I don't hate this reality.
It will fit. That's for sure. Some of the modules are like Unity, for example, is short enough. I think that it can fit like horizontally. Like you don't need it vertically.
Maybe
on the bay. I think it.
Look,
It's
all I'm
big
saying
enough.
is that having the ISS hanging over Space Shuttle Discovery at the Smithsonian Institute would be, I'm just saying that I'd want that. I'd want that. That'd be a pretty cool museum, dude. I'm just saying.
I'd pay to visit that.
I'm just saying that'd be pretty sweet.
I mean,
Or
wasn't
even
there
having
at one
like
point,
or even having like, I don't know, like part of the US segment here with Atlantis, and then like more modules with Discovery, and then maybe send the Japanese module Kibo to JAXA back in Japan, and then send not Columbus? Is it Columbus? The European module. The lab.
Columbus is
Columbus, and send that back to Cologne in Germany for ESA. Right? How sick would that be?
That'd be. I don't hate that.
Now, the question is, would Roscosmos contract NASA to bring back segments of the Russian segment?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We own them.
so
We own Zarya. We don't. I mean, we.
That's true.
Well,
We own Zvezda, but Zarya is ours. We paid for that. Just saying.
Didn't- So this is a bit sort of also going along the lines of this, because I think was it last month where the House did the same. So this is the Senate committee, and then you have the House doing their own thing as well with the bills and all that, and trying to amend stuff, and so there was also another what they call markups or whatever it's pronounced. That was like late January, early February from the House side of things, and I think in that one they added the requirement for NASA to study increasing the orbit of the ISS such that it becomes a permanent museum or something like that. I don't know. Like it was weird, but this whole conversation just reminded me of that.
it seems like at least in my opinion, this is a bit off topic maybe, but it seems like a bigger. I hate to be advocating for this side of the argument, but it feels like a bigger hazard to fellow satellites and maybe other space stations in orbit as well if we were to push the ISS and just into some sort of graveyard orbit, unless we completely took all the fuel out of it and we depressurized it. So in the event that there was something happening, there wouldn't be any majorly explosive compression to send debris everywhere and cause a hazard for a lot of things. But I think a graveyard orbit for the ISS, while cool in theory and sounds like, I don't know, 50 or 100 years down the line when orbital tourism is a much more mainstream thing to go visit it and go see it, or fly around it, right? Similar to diving to go see shipwrecks. It just feels like a much bigger hazard to have a spacecraft that big just out floating all dead, or just completely dead out in an orbit somewhere. Especially if something were to happen, whether there's any sort of explosive decompression or something of the sorts. There's a lot of debris on the station that could cause a big problem to a lot of people at some point, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's fun to theory craft. I would like to see a starship at the ISS, but who knows?
That would be sick.
I just thought it was funny. Like, there's a potential scenario that Starliner is the only way to get to the ISS.
How the turntables.
I don't mean to knock on the Starliner program, but damn, that's funny.
I made the joke in the back channel, but I would say, what about the moon? Just get the ISS modules on the surface of the moon.
Starship could do that. I'm here for it.
Future museum where you go
ISS
to the moon
museum
to see the
on
ISS.
the lunar surface. Let's go.
Right,
Part of Moon Base Alpha.
We're
Let's
gonna
go.
be doing big things. Like, I mean, if you want to, you want to win the space race. Yeah, that's
take
pretty
Hubble
cool.
and not land it back on Earth. Put it on Mars. How about that? Mars base, and you have Hubble on the outside, all deployed and everything. Now I'm just joking, but really, like,
did you just dab, Alex? I'm sorry. Did you just dab almost? It seemed like you almost just dabbed.
No,
I swear.
I was just doing things with my hands.
You were just
very
doing
expressive
that.
with my hands.
It's fine.
Yeah. I'm also like, it's very.
What is
frame.
happening right now?
I don't know, actually.
Can we talk about the moon base?
Yes, we can talk about it.
Go ahead.
Go.
It's
Moon base.
amazing. Finally, we have it on paper, on law. Well, it's an amendment of a future law, whatever. It's still to
Has
be
to
enacted
pass in
and
the
all.
Senate.
Yeah, the routine thing. But yeah, I mean, for the first time, it's not like, well, maybe you could have a capability, like, or a permanent presence around the moon or things like that. Or permanent capability. Like, at one point it was like, if you just have the hardware to be able to go to the moon, that's already permanent capability. And it's like, that is not how it works. Like, that is not exciting, right? It's sort of like having Crew Dragon around, and it's like, yeah, you have the capability to go to space, but it's like, you're not in space, right? Like, you abandon the ISS, and now suddenly you're like, but we have the Crew Dragon. It's like, yeah, but you don't have the crew in space, right? It's like, so now, actual base on the moon, permanently crewed, again, with the iterative thing, right? Like, they're going one step at a time.
Yep.
But the goal should be permanently occupied. So how about Gateway? Hey?
All right, so fellas, this is gonna come a surprise. Granted, I'm saying like, oh, keep SLS, keep LSLS. I hate Gateway. I hate it a lot. They should have dumped it a long time ago. So I'm like super happy about that. And I know a lot of people just went, wait, what? I'm like, dude, I hate that thing. I think that
you mean you
Yeah.
don't like a near? Oh my god, I completely ruined that joke. Never mind. Never mind. Move on. I completely butchered that.
Today, Junior.
You mean you don't like a near rectilinear halo orbit, EJ? You mean you don't like that?
I don't necessarily mind that. I just think if you're going to sustainably explore the moon, a rectilinear halo orbit is great for like line of sight communications, but
Just have a relay.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that you want to put people out there, right? That's like saying, Alex, you just just put a relay. That's like saying, let's go to Tidris before we go to the ISS. That's dumb. The Tidris is 23,000 miles that way. The ISS is 270. No, let's go there first. No. How about you just go to low lunar, like what Apollo did, and just go down to the surface? Like kind of, I don't know, do that, like maybe go with what you know thing like that. Apollo's architecture is pretty freaking good. I'm just saying, like,
and
people saying, why do I hate it? Like I said, it's all the way up there. You need a 3-stage lander solution to get down to the surface. That's just introducing so much ridiculous complication to a lander when you could have just, I don't know, built a better upper stage for SLS and avoided this problem completely. Like, I don't know.
Oh, wait.
Seems like that's what we're doing.
what I
it
find
all
funny,
makes sense. What's up?
Go ahead, Max.
I wasn't.
No,
gonna say anything
Alex,
else.
you up?
Yeah, it was you.
I was gonna say what I find funny is that this amendment, the only, or at least so far, because I've been looking, it's like 300 pages or something like that. I don't remember. Like I've gone through all of them, and the only mention that I've seen of Gateway is a briefing on Lunar Outpost, where it says that no later than 60 days after the date of the enactment of this act, the administrator shall provide the appropriate committees of Congress with a briefing on plans for the Gateway Outpost. That's it. Like, Congress is just saying, so what are you going to do with the Gateway? Like, that's essentially what they're doing. And that's before they talk about the, I think it is before the lunar base, I think. Yeah. After spacesuits and before the lunar base, yeah. Above, I think, yeah. It's scroll up. It's a very short part. There we go. That is.
No, you
it's
did.
in the middle.
It. No. Down. slowly down.
Firmly grasp.
Line 7.
Firmly
line 7,
grasp it.
8, 9, 10. It's like 7,
There you
8, 9, 10, 11. That's it. This is all. This is everything that there is about Gateway in this amendment.
Jeez.
Like, there's nothing else.
So
They're not saying, the administrator needs to use Gateway and all that. Like, they're just removed everything about it.
So
just left this.
Alex, wasn't there an addition to this? And Jay, you don't need to scroll to it. You're doing a heck of a job, buddy. You don't need to scroll to it. Alex, wasn't there a piece of legislation in this bill here that also says, like, the administrator can do what you want with pre-existing programs that are getting canceled? Like, you could do whatever you want with whatever you need to do to get back to the moon. So if that's the case, what do you think they're going to do with Gateway?
Yeah, there is, Jay, if you want to go to that one, it's page 34, but I'm saying here, it's when it says use of existing hardware, it says that the administrator may repurpose, reprogram, reconfigure, or reassign existing programs, platforms, modules, or hardware originally developed for other programs. And you had it already prepared. There you go. That's the part. And this is a really important thing as well, because this allows NASA, in theory, to reuse the Gateway elements that were the closest to be finished, like power and propulsion element. The service module, essentially, of Gateway was rather quite advanced in its production. And then also the Halo module as well. It's in a state where you could, in theory, maybe repurpose it as a lunar base module, maybe. Maybe it could be the first one, right? But this includes a lot of other things. Like, I was thinking even like mobile launcher too. Why not? or other things. This gives a lot of leverage. But yeah. And also in that same page, by the way, if you scroll down a little bit, it also encourages the use of clips because this is about the lunar base, by the way. Yeah, see? Administrator may utilize the Commercial Lunar Payload Services Program contracting vehicle to deliver instruments, infrastructure components, communication and power systems, scientific payloads, and other logistic packages to the outpost and designated staging sites. AKA, you can use clips to be able to do all of the prepositioning of cargo and everything to the lunar surface for the lunar base. And since they can reuse existing hardware and repurpose programs and whatnot, they're probably gonna start also modifying CLIPS missions to start launching things to the lunar surface for the base. Just mark my words.
Dude, Alex, you know,
Like it's 16 missions.
dude, okay. At the top of this flame trench, you know, like I said, what Jared is doing is not an easy thing to do. Everybody that's done this has tried to do this has failed miserably in the past. Like, I mean, man, it certainly seems like the support is here to get this done. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and deny objective reality. It seems like they got all the angles figured out. Like, can you imagine leveraging clips? I mean, Alex, like, this is the other thing to think of. Like, you keep saying, show me the money, show me the money. If we're going with commercial here, like, this is not going to cost nearly as much as we think it is. Right?
This is the thing that, you know, where it says about use of existing hardware and it talks about reconfigure or reassigning existing programs, platforms, modules, or hardware. Like, it feels to me that it is also saying the funding that we gave you for this, now you can also repurpose it for the for the missions. Like, it feels to me that way. Now, it is true though. First of all, this is authorization, right? Like, it doesn't have appropriations, so whole different thing.
Yeah,
like, there's no money here. It's just telling NASA you can do this, or we tell you to do this, right? That sort of thing. Authorization.
But even like repurposing programs and reallocating funding, that is money. Like, especially if you can the EUS, how many millions of dollars is that?
Yeah, but
I'm just putting it out there. Like,
the importance of this, EJ, I think, in my opinion, again, I'm saying, I agree with you. I've been saying, you know, like 10 minutes ago, show me the money, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
We need a budget, because again, this is authorization. We need an appropriations bill for NASA that shows that Congress does support this, right? Doesn't say do it, but also here's our support. That also needs to happen. But I do think that having it still not yet, because it needs to be passed and whatever, but having it in law, under writing and everything, and you know, once it gets to the president, it'll be signed and all that. Having it like that, especially the expiration upper stage part, where it talks about, you know, being able to just replace it with something else. That was something that they were not able to do until now, and now it's in the process of getting into law, right? Like, it is a change. It is this is what this is essentially Congress telling us that you can do this, right? Whereas before this, it was not something that they were able to do just nilly-willy. So I think it's encouraging, at least from a leverage, as you said, from a leverage standpoint, to allow the administrator to say, okay, I'm going to repurpose things here and there to commit to the lunar base, et cetera, et cetera. I think that's probably the compromise that they made for approving this.
I'll admit, I never thought I'd see the day where Congress would relinquish creative control over NASA's mission architecture. I thought those days were gone.
Yeah.
Iterative development as well.
This is ridiculous, man. Like, in a good way. Like, I'm sitting here like, is this happening? Yeah. Like, wait a minute. Wait, you could do that? Like,
yeah.
All right. I never thought I'd see the day. That's all right. Please, because, you know, guys, we were talking about SLS before. We were talking about how it came here. It came here because Congress mandated it, because somebody pulled the rug out from, you know, from Constellation, saying, you know, it was overcosted, too expensive, blah, blah. Now Congress seems to be on board with it. That's just like, I don't know. Forgive me if I like don't trust that, but also at the same time, I never thought I'd see Congress relinquish, you know, control of like what architecture NASA needs to do to achieve their goals.
There are levers, right? Like,
yeah.
It feels to me that they're different, because first of all, if you're Congress, it's like, we don't want. What are we showing here? Oh, the development video.
Iterative development.
Yeah,
baby.
Because I said iterative. Like, it feels to me that there's some kind of law of conservation, if you will, with Congress, where it's like, it's a law of conservation of pork. How about that? Right? Where it's like, you gotta keep the barrel going. How do we do this? Okay, I don't like it that SLS is launching too slow, and like the cadence is slow. Okay, I'll keep SLS going if you allow me to modify the upper stage to be able to launch it more often. How about that? Right? Like, you see where I'm going, right? Like,
yeah, dude,
keep the pork, but it's different. It's a bit better, right? It actually works in your favor, which is the point. Okay, we don't like Gateway. But we can repurpose things about Gateway to do the lunar base. I like the lunar base. Like, can you imagine, like, you know, I'm the administrator, you are Ted Cruz or something like that, right? And I'm like coming to you, and I'm like, I'm gonna keep the things going for you. And even in the bill, by the way, just side note here, it says that the lunar surface base needs to be controlled from Johnson Space Center, of course. So this is one of the levers. Like,
cool
you pull one down, but you pull the other up, and it's like, you know, it compensates, and it's the law of conservation of pork. That's the thing, right? Like, you try to
pork.
No, you gotta negotiate things, right? Like, I don't like this, but you like part of it. Okay, like,
what as well, that really shows the amount of political prowess that Jared has really been able to actually demonstrate here. Just even though the fact that he's been on the job for what, 3 months, something like that.
Crazy, dude.
3.5 months with no prior political experience, mind you. If anything, that is one of the greatest signs that he has the best intentions at heart here with what he wants to do, not just for our space program, but just for, I guess, our country and our international partners as well. I like you were saying earlier, EJ, I didn't think that we would see the day. I really didn't.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. I mean, that's a step in the right direction. But yeah, like, you know, like I said, man, you know, I was listening to what Alex was saying, and I did skim through most of that bill. Like, I was hearing you explain it, Alex. It kind of clicked in my head, like, you know, Jared's job is difficult, but he doesn't have to fight an uphill battle like Jim did.
Yeah.
You know, like, man, this could happen, dude. And, you know, Alex, law of conservation of pork is the other thing why I think SLS is going to fly a long time into the future. That's just another thought. Like, you know, I don't think Congress would sack the EUS and ML2 if there wasn't something to sweeten the pot, right? Like, yeah, man.
And also, to be fair,
crazy that this is happening. Like, crazy.
This amendment is not just Ted Cruz; it's also Maria Cantwell, Democrat from Washington. Like, this is both. Like, this is bipartisan, right? Bipartisan.
Everybody's on board, man.
That's huge.
Like, she also approved this, right? And it's under her name. So this is not just Jared coming up and be like, you know, I'm the guy from the Republican Party, so of course I'm gonna be buddies with people from the Republican Party or whatever. This is also a Democrat that also said, this is under my name, this is under her name as well. And there are also a few other amendments as well, you know, smaller amendments, but they are adding commercial things as well. That are also from Democrats and things like that. Like, this is bipartisan, which is, I think, the core here. Where it's like, I have not seen this kind of many changes to NASA's programs, and it was bipartisan.
That's a huge
deal. At least
deal.
In my life. To be fair, it's a short life
compared
to NASA's life.
Well, like,
but,
Alex, like,
right?
you know, yeah, dude, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, you know, historically, this hasn't worked. Like, and, you know, I said what I said about the EUS because I was sure like something like this wouldn't happen, but here we are. Like, okay, I mean, I guess I'm wrong. Oh geez, oh no. All right.
And yeah, to be fair, Washington, Blue Origin, sure. Okay. Because yeah, Maria Cantwell is from the same state as Blue Origin.
Parties are parties, but money is money, dude.
It's jobs. Like, she looks at it and she's like, it's jobs, right? Just like Ted Cruz looking at, hey, can we put Johnson Space Center in the things that it's gonna be the center for the lunar base, right? Like, come on. They all sort of.
I mean, NASA Flight Ops is, but
those
are the
like
people you want
paragraphs.
Working on that.
Yeah, but they have multiple paragraphs, like, you know, going into Johnson Space Center, center of human exploration at NASA. lots of different things
Yep.
just to justify. Hey, put Johnson, please, thanks.
Crazy. This is nuts, dude. Speaking of nuts, Starship. You guys want to talk about some Starship because we're starting to
talk
see
about
some
Starship.
action.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me prepare for it. I need to be like this.
He needs to
Right.
open his book.
No, because the joke about this is that there's beach closures, but
Yep.
the document is flipped 90 degrees.
Oh.
So we have a beach closure, Alex. What do we got?
Yeah, I don't know. That they might be doing something. I'm
Really?
sort of stalling here to try to get Jay to prepare it because we just jumped into it. But yeah, maybe we have booster 19 testing, hopefully, at the pad. A vehicle on the pad
Mm-hmm.
after
First time
how long since
First
Flight
time since
11?
October, like almost
Yeah.
6 months. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just bonkers. I'm seeing already Jake preparing the document, but just to quickly summarize, Booster 19, Cryo, last month, right? Then back to Mega Bay 1. Probably got engines. We are expecting it to go out and do some kind of engine test campaign. We don't know what they're planning, right? Like all possibilities. So there are now beach closures, not transport closures, beach closures, which are for testing. Okay, these you can see it's like 12 hours long. These are the long closures that are usual for testing. And so there's one on Monday, then Tuesday, and then Wednesday, all from 8 to 8. So 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. But yeah, so we have that. That means we should see a rollout anytime this weekend. The booster transport send moved to Mega Bay 1. We had a picture earlier today from Colleen who was out there and she was like, hey, it's out here, right? It's like, hey. So it went out there and we should see this coming out anytime soon. Of course, we're going to be streaming that live. If it's 4 a.m., we'll take it. But
Wait, we're gonna
it's
do
really
some tank.
important.
We're gonna do some tank watching.
Some
We're
old-fashioned
gonna
tank
see
watching.
we're gonna have
please.
tank roll watching, and then tank testing watching.
Oh, please.
Then tank fire watching, maybe, hopefully.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Oh no,
My
let's not do
God.
that. Let's not have
I got
that.
him to
No,
do it. I got him to
especially
do
on
it.
Pat too.
Yes.
Let's not.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no. We want bingo
No,
right in the
it's-
center,
it's
right?
Max is forbidden from
It's-
being in that
no,
first
no, no,
stream.
no, 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 no. It's a good oh pause, my God. It's a good one. It's good.
It's
because-
good.
Because
Chris,
just
you got
because
that? No, Max.
that's so rude.
Just joking. I'm just joking, Max.
But yeah, just because we have the beach closures, that doesn't really signify what kind of testing they have coming up. But just logically speaking, from what the booster hasn't done yet, and what the pad hasn't done yet, they haven't really flowed any sort of cryo through the plumbing around the pad yet, like either through the ship QD or the twin BQDs at the bottom of the base of the launch mount. So my intuition tells me that we're going to see some sort of tanking tests or tests, plural, first. And it also depends on how many engines we see installed on the booster, whether they opted to install all 33 or just the outer ring of 20 or just the inner 13. So we don't know. We should know more once it's at the site and they have it lifted up, because I don't think we can actually see the engine section when it's on the booster or on the transport stand as it is now. But they're going to be, I think we might have like 2 or 3 rounds of cryo testing coming up first for the booster, not just for the booster itself, even though it's already gone through its cryo test campaign, but it's more so to validate the pad itself as well first, to ensure that it's like, and to ensure that the BQDs aren't leaking, that the tank farm functions as it should, yada, yada, yada. But actually, Ryan in the back channel corrected me. They have flowed cryo through the mount. They just haven't loaded into a vehicle from the
up to
true.
like before
Yes.
the QDs and
Correct.
all the way to the QDs. I think it's just being gas essentially. Like they did blowdowns and things like that. I think it was last week or earlier this week. Time is
a blur.
Yeah, it's a blur.
Yeah.
I don't.
Time is a flat circle.
It's a flat circle, it's a blur, and everything. Yeah, all
That's
the
blurry.
the things. But I want to have a discussion, or at least throw to you two guys a couple of questions.
Here we go.
First, do you think we're gonna have like multiple campaigns where it's like it rolls out, rolls back, rolls out again, rolls back, rolls out? Like, are we gonna see that sort of thing before the flight, where sort of they have to roll back and fix things, or not even just fix things, like maybe tweak things here and there? Or Max was saying like maybe it doesn't have all the engines and things like that. Like maybe they do something where it's like they just have one ring or the other ring or something like. Do you think that's gonna be part of the thing? And this one is even more important for Max, because he just said, maybe the first tests are gonna be cryos.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think it's gonna be, if the cryo goes well, less static fire, or something more like let's do multiple cryos then static fire? Because I feel like they could be daring enough to do the first, where it's like, if the cryo goes well, let's try and fire up, right? Like, I don't know.
I don't think they might do one full cryo where they load the boosters both tanks to their brims, and then maybe do a couple of partial tankings just to make sure, in the event that they have to abort and detank. But my gut tells me they're not going to do a single cryo, and if that goes well, go right into a static fire campaign. That feels kind of risky, especially with the booster and the pad having only been tested together on one occasion. I feel like they want to have as much data and insurance as possible to make sure that they're going to have as much positive cohesion as possible between two entities. They're probably going to do one or two wet dress rehearsals with a full stack once that becomes a thing as well. Oh my god, I know, I can't wait. But I think they're going to do at least probably maybe 2 cryo tests before moving on to any sort of static fire campaign. Regarding static fire campaign, we'll have to wait and see how many engines the booster actually has installed. If they have all 33 installed, they might do like maybe a 13 engine static fire and then moving on to all 33, or they might just go gung-ho and jump to all 33. But it's worth noting that it's not like the last generation booster where they had tons of data on the Raptor 2 when it was on a vehicle and in flight. Raptor 3 is not flown yet. It's not flown at all, nor has a version 3 vehicle of any sort. So I feel like they want as much data on... this is Booster 7!
Yeah, when it went out
which
with
is the
just
outer 20
engines. Yeah.
Oh, that was such a weird... God, that looks cursed. And that was with the Raptor 1s as well, right?
No, that's Raptor 2.
It's early Raptor 2, I think.
Yeah.
So
all full stack flights have been Raptor 2. So
yeah, okay.
Is it just me, or just like now that we've seen like Block 3 Starship, does that thing just look super? It just looks super jank.
Ancient.
Yeah, exactly.
Ancient.
The hydraulic power unit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it looks super jank compared to it. Like, dude, Block 3 seems like dialed in. Like, it's like, what is this thing?
It looks like.
I mean, this
looks
looks jank. This looks like jank even with compared to this one. Booster 15.
Yeah, right.
It looks like the project card that you bought from behind somebody's house that hasn't run in like 15 years, and it's your goal to make it work well enough to drive it. Like, that's what Booster 7 looks like. That's what Booster 7 looked like at the very beginning. I'm not gonna lie.
Real.
I wonder why.
Fair,
yeah,
it's too real.
Maybe Ryan can correct me in the back channel, because this was early August 2022. By the way, the reason why this is being lifted by a crane is because this is also that time where the hydraulics on the chopsticks leaked. Let's put it that way. Yeah. I remember that one because I stayed up very late to cover that rollout, and we were going to be covering. Yeah, I remember that one because we were going to be doing a dual coverage of rollout and lift, because the chopsticks were already prepared for the lift and everything. That was quite crazy at the time, where we were like, they're going to lift it right away. This was like maybe the second or third time that they're going to be lifting a booster with the chopsticks, by the way. So we were all prepared for that, and then suddenly the hydraulics fails. Anyways, this was like early August. They did, I think maybe like a couple of static fires with just a few engines on the outer ring, and then they rolled it back to Mega Bay. Mega Bay was it at the time? Maybe High Bay.
I
Even
I think it was High
Yeah.
Bay.
it might have been
High Bay.
Yeah.
High Bay 1, dude.
And they
Blast
stole
from the past.
the remaining engines. I think they did another set of static fire testing late that month. So like it was within the same month where they rolled back, installed the rest of the engines, went out, and did more testing. I don't exactly remember what kind of testing because I forgot those specifics, but I do remember they did more testing. Hang on.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
they did multiple static fires where it was just like one or two engines at once, and they weren't the
Yeah,
same
there we go.
ones
Three.
in the pattern.
3 engines at the end of August. Yeah.
Yep.
Wait a minute.
Spin prime, static fire.
I don't think that's going to be the case though for Booster 19. Oh, go ahead, EJ. You're like frothing. Go.
Is this the cryo spin prime spin prime spin prime
Yeah.
static prime spin prime static prime spin prime static prime static prime spin prime cryo test? Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, continue. I needed to say it. Wyoming.
Yeah,
Cubs.
it didn't go to like full engines and things like that. Like for example, 7 engines was September 19th. Then it did 14 engines November, 11 engines again November, and then it didn't do 31 engines. It was supposed to be 33.
Yeah.
Until February of the following year. Of course, I don't expect whatsoever, or at least knock on wood, it doesn't happen like that. But I don't expect that to be happening with Booster 19, right? Like it's probably going to be a lot more condensed.
Yeah. I think at
Really
this point as
super
well.
excited. Yeah.
I think at this point as well with Booster 7, they were also just learning how a super heavy booster behaved in general when it had a prop in it and when they wanted to
Raptor
light
2 as
multiple
well.
Raptors at once. Exactly. It's not the situation is much different. I think they have a great understanding now of how just robust super heavy is, at least with the old design. And in version 3 was built with the learnings and lessons from versions 1 and 2 boosters. But yeah, this is like when they were still learning how it behaved in multiple circumstances and how to light multiple Raptors at once. I think we'll see one multiple engine static fire and then all 33 with Booster 19. I don't think they're going to go right into a full test with all engines, but I could be wrong. They could be feeling ambitious and want to do it. I don't know,
Dude, Max, I think they're gonna go slow and methodical. I mean, look at what they've been doing with Ship 39. They've been testing the snot out of that thing. Leave no stones unturned. You know?
have.
I think they're gonna be slow and methodical with this. And I it's funny because we say, oh, SpaceX is gonna be slow. Dude, slow for them is like light speed for everybody else, right?
Yeah,
like, I'm not
like,
even
to
gonna
be
sit here
fair.
and deny
Time
that.
moves differently for SpaceX.
Yeah. And EJ, like you were saying, Ship 39, but even the test tanks. How many? I could probably ask Ryan about
Oh,
this.
God.
Like, how many tests have we seen of those test tanks? How many
So
test
many.
tanks we've seen?
So
Like,
many. I
just-
talk about them every week on Starship Update all the time.
I think it was last week where Ryan was here on the Flame Trench where he was like, the number of test tanks that they have for version 3, especially of the booster. Like the booster is something that they're really concerned about to really work, and they have made, I think, like 4 different test tanks for just the transfer tube, like different parts of the transfer tube.
Yep.
And then of course there's also B18.1, which has also part of the transfer tube inside, and they have done loads on it and things like it's just bonkers. So seeing this amount of testing on Ship 39, it's not really unexpected. When Booster 19 was out there for cryo, they also did quite a bunch of tests as well. So
Yep.
yeah.
But the reason why they're being so thorough and methodical is version 3 has to work. They cannot afford to have a start to life
I agree with that.
like version
Absolutely.
2 did. Like it wasn't, Starship is not an experiment anymore. Like they need to start delivering on what they have promised to both NASA and their commercial partners with what Starship can do.
Well,
so that is why they Go ahead.
No, Maxwell. Yeah, I mean, sorry, I don't mean to butt in, but if everybody wants me to keep being wrong, SpaceX has to make this thing work, dude.
Yeah.
Like just
It
if we want to
literally
keep
it has to
laughing at
work.
me, right? Like it has to work. Like they got to get that HLS up and running, and I hope they do. I really do. Anyway, continue.
No, I was just going to say, like, it needs to work, and I think the biggest timeline crunch right now is proving the vehicle to what NASA wants it to do with their HLS contractual agreements, with the in-flight docking and fuel transfer this year, and as well as ship catch, hopefully as early as Flight 14. I think was what Elon said after completing two successful and very accurate soft splashdowns with the ship. Only then will they even think about attempting to bring the ship back to the launch site and catching it.
Dude,
so
Ryan actually posted the all the testing. 18.1 did 16 tests. The ship 39 has done 10, and 18.3 has done 10. Just on a
Good
side
grief.
note, like that's a lot
Good
of
grief.
testing for them, right? Like that's more. That's just like as much as Booster 7. Like, dude, this thing's she's got to go anyway. It's good stuff.
Now, when static fire?
I think we're building to that thing. I mean, we're building
39 or 19, because we were also talking about 19.
That's
I guess
V3
both.
SN1, Alex.
Stop it! Stop! No, EJ,
No, I
stop!
hate it
stop.
too. You guys are right. I'm not that guy.
I'm going to stop you right there, Chief.
I hate it too. It's ship 39.
Thanks,
Come
I hate
on,
it.
man. Thanks, I hate it. Please never call it that again.
I like the chopstick simulator thingies.
Yeah, those are.
Like-
That's
super
honestly kind of cool. Like
It's super cute.
as kind of ugly as this truss is, like it's really cool with what it does with stress testing the flaps and also being able to like do squeeze and catch tests with those chopstick simulators is actually really cool.
I remember when this was being built, and there were many theories about, like, for example, I was thinking, this is just for access, right? Because it's true that whenever they go up to like the payload bay or something like that, they're always using the lifts and things like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it would be nice if they could have some kind of permanent structure out there to be able, especially now that ships are going to be the same height for
Right.
probably a couple of years, right? Might be more than a dozen ships like that. And I was thinking, it would be interesting if they were able to do that. So at first I was thinking it was some kind of access. Then there was other hardware suggesting that it might be for testing, like the chopsticks thing. And then we started seeing as well for pulling the flaps and everything. They've also been doing flap
crazy
testing and everything. And I'm like, why are they doing that? Like, why is it now that they are worrying about the flaps? They've been flying ships with flaps for I don't know how long, right?
I mean, Alex,
and now they're worrying about it.
I don't think they're worrying about it, dude. I think this is validation because they probably
Good
got
for them.
good at,
I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just
right.
I'm just,
yeah, I don't think this is for. I
curious
don't think,
about it.
Yeah, right. Dude, I don't think it's for testing. Like, it's because you guys said it. It's not. This stuff isn't for, it's more of a checkout test stand at this point. I'm guessing the load data that they got from the Block 2 starships, right? The load data that they got from flying those things is giving you good validation on how much load is going to be put on those flaps, so you can test for it. To make sure that you don't get like burned through, or you make sure you don't strain the motors or whatever, right?
I mean,
think this is more qualification than testing.
They only got to test those flaps twice, though. To be fair. As opposed to 6 times,
enough,
which was what they're targeting. True, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But again, as
3 is
a former
pattern,
colleague
but...
would say, more data, more better.
Yeah.
A former colleague,
Yeah.
love you, Jack.
Mm-hmm. Dude, are you guys, man? Like I said, I like SLS. I think that's a good rocket. I think NASA's good in their own construct, but this stuff's great too. I am a nasty fanboy of this stuff too. Like, man, I am jonesing for.
Inject it into my veins, please.
Yeah, dude. I am jonesing for Flight 12. I want it.
You're
jonesing. I'm jonesing for it. I want it.
Call me a nerd, but I'm also excited to see the testing at the pad.
Yeah.
And like trying to
nerd.
guess things, Because
Yeah.
I mean, I'm part of nerd, but also because I want to go to the launch and not be completely out in a vacuum, right? Where it's like, I want to see how that pad behaves, catch up things like, timings and what sort of things we should expect from the ground systems. It's also going to be weird because with this new generation, they're cooling down the tanks before they load propellant, and so they get frosty before loading the propellant. And so it's going to be quite interesting, let's put it that way, to cover these, where it's like we're probably going to be live, hopefully Monday. We're going to be live covering the testing, and the thing will get frosty and people will be in the chat saying, propellant, they're loading propellant, right? And
Frost lines.
it's going to be
Frost
interesting. It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be frosty before it
explaining-
gets frosty.
Exactly. And so I really want to see all of that, going on. And then that means that whenever we go to the launch, we'll be able to explain all of those different things and I don't know, like being not fully surprised about how that works. I want to be surprised for the launch, not for the whole, 12 hours before that. Like maybe it's just me that is a nerd about this.
No, dude, this is awesome stuff. I mean, you're seeing a program like no other unfold between your eyes, like in front of your eyes. Like I like tank watch it just as much as the next person. I think it's great.
I think
it's fantastic.
We're gonna have a certain feeling going through us once we see the booster being lifted onto the launch mount for the first time, because we haven't seen that since October. Like it's like this is all gonna be like
13th.
Yeah, like it'll be like, oh yes, I remember this. I want more of this. It's good. It's good to see this again. But it's also going to be our first time looking at how the apt end of a version 3 booster actually looks. Like we've seen all the renders, we've seen footage of the apt end of the booster. We've never actually seen what it looks like with the engines installed as it is now, because it is a far departure in terms of looks with version 1 and version 2 with the lack of engine shielding. Like it's literally just the engine bells and the engine power heads all completely visible below the thrust puck. It's going to look mega.
All right.
Omega.
Oh, stop it.
Oh, mega God.
Oh, my God.
He said it again.
Good Lord. Yeah, Chris,
right.
if you're watching, don't put this guy on commentary for the
Yeah, this guy, right? This guy right here.
All right.
AJ, I'm happy for you. You're already gonna be the host, right, on Monday.
What the?
For
I mean, that's fair. I don't want to host. That's fine. You're good. I don't want to host anyway. It's fine.
Did I know about this or?
Yeah, you do now. Psych.
Hey,
You're
Chris is
hosting
in
on
chat,
Monday.
by the way.
Did you just told me to do something?
Correct. That is precisely what happened. Yes. And you're gonna like it.
I mean,
Idiot.
all right. I'll support time. Support time. Okay. All right. We got Rosebud with a $10 super chat. Is there a reason why the moon wasn't considered for a permanent international space station to begin with? I guess it was. I guess it's current events, Rose. Like, I guess it's current events. Like these two jabronis here have been saying current events are the reason why this is going to succeed. So I would have chalked that one up to that.
Wait, did I?
No, not you. It's more. It's more Yukon
yeah,
Cornelius over there.
I swear to God.
What?
It's just Yukon Cornelius over here.
But, like when the ISS was conceived, it was sort of like a mix of Mare 2 with the Freedom Station. Well, Freedom, Diet Freedom, I guess.
Diet Freedom. Yeah, that's right.
And so it's like, I don't know, like it just didn't make sense to do it on the moon. First of all, because there was no such capability even being developed at all, right? Like not just present, but like not even developed, not even in some kind of budget or factory or anything, right? It wouldn't have made sense at all, even though it would have been cool, and lots of headlines and everything Russia and the United States, blah, right? Like, but it's like you can say all you want without any development, you cannot do anything. Just saying.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go. Let's keep going with the support. We got Demez Recon, $20 super chat. The only sustainable space program is no space program. EJ, oh, don't do me like that, man. Come on.
Gotcha.
Come on, man.
Full on gotcha moment, EJ.
Oh,
Get off the stream.
That's not what I'm saying, man.
Get off the stream.
No, I'm gonna get that comment off the stream. Get out of here. Get out of here. Okay, we got Drunar with a $5 Canadian butt. All right, what do we got? Race for the first moon base, lunar nuclear power, laser weapons in space. Per Tory Bruno. Is Dr. Evil running Congress's science committee? Drew, I'm not touching that one. I'm just gonna get that one off the screen. I'm not touching that one, man.
Funny enough, the race for first moon base, that was actually part of the language of the bill, where they mentioned the International Lunar Research Station. I think that's the name of the Chinese plus Russia station, even though Russia doesn't have any capability to go to the moon. Anyways, doesn't have any capability even without crew. But
Bring back the N1. There's only one solution.
Rip Luna 25.
Oh, God.
Luna 20. Yeah, okay. All right, so we got Nitro 45555 with a $5 super chat saying the NASA administrator shall send ML2 to the moon in order to be displayed alongside the ISS Lunar Museum.
My friend, what are you going to use to launch Mobile Launcher 2 to the station? Sea Dragon.
1 billion SLS.
Sea Dragon.
Artemis 1 billion.
Yeah.
Artemis 1 billion.
I'm actually okay with this because that means we have a rocket that can move 8 million pounds to the moon. Yeah, I'm all right with that. That's fine with me.
Yeah, it's 8 million pounds. Hang on, how much can it lift to the moon?
Yeah, I mean,
like 80,000
about that
pounds
much.
or something?
So the ML2 is around 8 million pounds. It has to be. It's super light actually for a mobile launcher because SLS is so
Where's my
ridiculously
calculator?
heavy.
Yeah, I'm doing the math.
So yeah, I mean, do the math. How much delta V and TWR do you need to move 8 million pounds to the lunar surface?
I mean, TWR, it's just it can theoretically be 1.01, EJ.
Just in 80,000 pound chunks, you 100 SLSs. Artemis 100. There you go.
Artemis 100, baby. There it is.
Jarrett,
there it is.
You got it.
Well, there it is.
Well, there it is. All right. We got Captain Q 2607. That's one big pile of SLS. See, I can make jokes.
Come on. No.
So, all right. 295 from Captain Q. Ship 39 and Booster 19. Don't you mean V3SN1 and V3BN2? Nope.
Stop it.
That's going, Q, that's going right off the screen. I'm getting rid of that right now.
Stop it.
We're
Stop it right
gonna
now.
nip that right in the butt. And then you gifted a membership. Oh, now I feel bad.
This good.
Yeah, we can keep this. We can keep this on the screen. That's fine.
Yeah. This is good.
Oh dear. All right, Jurnar, what's up, man? We got a $5 Canadian super chat. Let's see. What do you got? They need to quality control the flaps on each ship built since they have to work flying over cities. Can't test the flaps in flight without expending. That's a really good point, actually.
Weren't they doing the whole test flappy things?
What?
Actuating the flaps before a static fire and also before flight?
Yeah.
I know they would actuate them on the pad when it was fully stacked, like day before, like randomly. I've seen it like twice, but they would actuate the flaps on the pad.
They did that, I think, for every ship on version 2.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Even
like day before
even
launch.
36 before it exploded. Like I remember watching back, and I was
the forward
like,
flaps.
They moved the flaps. They moved the flaps, and I thought at first that it was the flaps or something like that that caused the explosion. Yeah.
And then it threw a temper tantrum.
Yeah, it was not the flaps, it was the COPVs. Silly me.
Dude, I actually have a question coming over coming over from Twitch chat. I do stream on Twitch, guys, so I have the chat going over there. Yeah, Wisp is saying, if we put a Centaur on top of SLS, does that make it Atlas 6 or Atlas 7?
No, neither. Neither,
No,
because it
let's
flies
not
on
go there.
Vulcan. It flies on Vulcan, not either a Delta or an Atlas vehicle.
Vulcan is Atlas 6, dude.
It's not. It's literally
It's-
not.
It is.
It's literally
SLS
not.
Block 1C because it's Centaur.
No.
SLS
Whoa.
I'm perfectly fine with the naming nomenclature SLS Centaur. That sounds clean to me. I like that. I think that sounds cool.
But SLS
That
is a
sounds
Delta
badass.
rocket.
What?
SLS is a
find
Delta rocket.
I
No,
find
no,
it
no, 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 no,
hilarious.
no. That's if it has the ICPS. But
Well,
even-
does it not have the ICPS on it right
it's
now?
not going to eventually,
Right.
EJ.
Yeah,
Good grief.
Can we talk
that's
about the
fine.
fact that this is supposed to be standardized Block 1 version, and so that will mean this is SLS 1, and
No.
if they had developed the exploration upper stage, it will have been SLS 1B. And you know what other rocket had a center upper stage on the 1, and then a different upper stage on the 1B? Saturn.
No,
Saturn 1
No.
had the center upper stage.
no. SLS
With
Centaur.
6
Next,
engines.
next question.
But no. Hear me out. Hear me out. I think that SLS is Delta because it's got a Delta upper stage.
Should
But
be SLS 1.
Delta in the Delta 4 had a 4-meter DCSS on it, and then they changed it to a 5-meter DCSS, and it kept the Delta name. So technically, if we put Centaur on top of SLS, it is Delta 5 medium plus.
Nope.
Technically.
Nope. I hate it. Nope.
No,
Nope.
Delta 5 medium plus.
No.
Come on.
Are you kidding? That's horrible. That's horrific.
No, it's great.
That's horrific.
It's Delta 5, man.
Oh
STS.
God, no. It's Ryan, don't even read that on screen. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't read that. Ryan Weber, no. Kindly
The funny
go
thing
away.
is that Centaur was also supposed to fly in the shuttle.
Don't remind me. Centaur G was amazing.
It was. It was.
Centaur
I
G
actually-
was a different version of the DCSS, but anyway.
Yeah, kind of not right. I actually had somebody say to me that, you know, them getting rid of NASA getting rid of the EOS is akin to them getting rid of shuttle Centaur G and replacing it with the IUS. Which I'll admit that's kind of an apt analogy, but we'll see. We'll let history be the judge.
Yeah, I made the
You
joke.
guys- Go ahead.
I made the joke at the time that they're going to be calling this the inertial cryogenic propulsion stage
I swear to God.
instead of the interim.
The ICPS lives on.
I love it. I love when he talks like, yeah, GPS.
The ICPS.
All right. Hey, we got 2 more super chats and then we got to wrap up here. So we got Bideford. Hey, Bideford, happy Flame
Hey.
Trench. Happy Friday Flame Trench. Lovely conversation again. $30 super chat. Thank you. Is it margarita time? Margarita time. Let's go. All right. We got
pajama
Efren
bed
theme.
time.
What?
For me, it's
No
already
te
1:20
gusta
a.m.
margaritas?
Continue.
Hey, it's happy hour somewhere, man. Okay.
Always 5 o'clock
Efren theme with the $10 super chat. Let's just agree to call it Saturn 6. Ooh.
No.
Hmm.
No. How about Delta Force Super Heavy?
Jim Yoder, $2 super chat. Call the SLS Tori Luno. All right.
But he's no longer working at ULA.
But he was when the ICPSs and Centaur 5s were flying.
Fair.
Anyway, all right. And on that bombshell, I think we're to the end here, guys. It was fun. It was fun. Max, thank you for popping in. I do appreciate it.
Of course, that was a fun one. That was a rather riveting conversation about all topics. It was rather, especially when Alex is here. I know it's going to be a riot of a combo. It's just facts. It's just facts. That was fun though. Thank you very much for having me on.
Critter.
Stop. That's literally my line, Alex. Are you kidding?
I know.
That's
stealing it.
literally my line.
Stealing your thunder, man.
You son of a biscuit eating bulldog.
What?
Never mind. And it's like saying shut the front door. It gets everyone like all like cooped up or like amped up for a second. What?
You said son of a biscuit eating bulldog.
Yeah. It's still G-rated.
Is that the biscuit is eating the bulldog, or the bulldog eats?
I
No,
I think we're giving too much thought process.
tell you
into
what,
this.
you can get a good look at a butcher with a T-bone, but you'd rather take his no, it's got to be your bull.
What?
No. What?
Herbal?
No, I can get a good look. All right, Alex, you go. Alex, thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
I didn't finish my thank you.
You're done. I'm the host.
Okay, well,
It was, it was a really late edition because poor Sawyer, had a little bit of a thing going on last minute, but it's been wonderful. It's just crazy these days with spaceflight, and I'm really having fun a lot. And
Yeah.
so, just saying.
a good time.
I don't have any words for outro. I know that we're gonna be very busy, right, EJ?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be busy.
dude.
We're going to be having lots of fun.
It's been slow through the holidays, but it's starting to pick up again, man. Like this is going to get wild. This year, I mean, if NASA does everything that Jared wants them to do, it's going to get crazy and it's going to be fun. And you can catch that here on NSF. We'll cover the Take Watch. We'll cover whatever you want, whatever you want to see. We'll do it, like in the space program. Anyway, so that's going to do it. I've been EJ, your host, excuse me. And I also can't speak correctly. I stream over on Twitch, guys. And obviously we have Jay Keegan pulling the strings, and he did a good job today considering the breaking news.
Teacher.
How busy are we gonna be on Monday, EJ? By the way.
Yeah. How
Here
busy
at
on Monday?
NSF.
Very.
What's happening on Monday?
What's happening? Yeah. Look at the back channel, you goof.
There we go.
Oh.
Firefly. Look at that.
Firefly.
Look at like somewhere around here. Live broadcast with NASA Spaceflight.
Oh man.
Providing live launch services, whatever it's the full thing. Launch live stream coverage. Yeah. Services. There you go. So Monday, tune in, Firefly, maybe also booster testing on Path 2, and maybe a Falcon 9, I think. Maybe.
Man, you weren't kidding. It is getting
It's gonna be
it is getting crazy. All right. Well,
yeah,
we got
launch live stream
Firefly.
services, sorry.
Oh yeah, right. There you go. So yeah, we'll look forward to that on Monday. And oh jeez, Monday's gonna get crazy. Now I'm thinking about it. Dude. So
You wanna
like,
be host,
no.
EJ?
For
EJ,
what?
no, don't
Which
ask.
thing?
He is hosting. He is
He
hosting.
is
am?
hosting. Yeah.
Yes,
he
you
is.
are hosting.
Yeah. It's gonna be
Okay.
busy. We're gonna need all voices.
All right, we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. All right, guys, you guys know the drill. We got This Week at Spaceflight coming up here. Stick around. We'll forward you right over to that. This Week at Spaceflight is the less unhinged version of your weekly news from NSF. It's a little, Lisa does it over there. She does a good job. It's, a little not as crazy as we are. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We do appreciate it. And also thank you to all the flight engineers and launch directors out there that are supporting the stream. We can't do this without you. We do appreciate it. And we will see you guys all. Oh, there it is. We'll see you guys all in the next one. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to say everybody's name on this list like 10 times fast. Ready? There we go. All right.
And here we go.
There's the deluge. Here's ignition.
Doubling up.
Did it just do a Kerbal?
Back to the moon and beyond.
Put that in the big bag, Gino.
Back at home, we all have a lot of work to do, but from here, it sure looks like a perfect world.
Propulsion continues to be normal.
We did have an observation. 343 unfolds to go.
It's orange.
Water towers fly!
Bingo!
Right in the center.
Where's Jacqueline? There it is!
That was surreal.
to see.
Oh my God.
Yikes, you bet and current. We don't need any more of these.
All right, I'm back. Dudes, oh wait, hang on, I gotta get the camera going. I talked NSF into playing Battlefield with me after the Flame Trench next week. It's gonna be pretty fun. Oh no. Oh, that's gonna be good. It's gonna be me, Ryan, Max, and Sawyer. We're gonna play BF6. Oh, that's gonna be great. Are you gonna be the captain? Yep. Oh, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a good time. Oh dear. Oh dear. Spicy Flame Trench today. I didn't do very good, guys. I was not good at articulating what I was trying to say. But it is what it is, man. People were NSF Chow was not happy with me. Oops. TLDR wasn't there for the trench. Centaur 5 is going on SLS, Pogo. Confirmed. It's going to be Centaur 5. Not the NSF channel, like the chat. People were like, people gave the whole, SLS is too expensive. It's too expensive. I'm an expert on rocket economics. Elon said Starship would be $2 million. SLS is too expensive. And I'm like, motherfucker. Man. And I was trying to say it like, no, it's not. You don't understand what you're talking about. Dang it. But I couldn't say it. There's just trying to host and then trying to have that type of conversation didn't work. So I was like, no, you're stupid. And it's like, that's great. Way to argue. Yep. Saturday Vibes is better. Like, compared to what? That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. People don't get it. People don't. Alex is all right. He was not trying to say that. I actually talked to him about it. He was agreeing with me. Alex has a very weird way of agreeing, but yeah. He was agreeing. Son of a biscuit-eating bulldog. All right, dudes. Let's flip back over to part 20. Boundaries. Online. Stuck on Volcanus. No. How about my spaceship exploded? I'm stuck on Volcanus. Factorio. Part 19. Or what part are we up to? What the hell am I looking at? When does this happen in the show? Let me load up YouTube here, and we'll jump back into Factorio. Okay, it's part 20. It's not part 19. There we go.